The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
It's the day after one of the worst Jet losses of the Robert Salah era. Where do the Jets go from here? We'll talk about it with Joe Benigno, in his weekly spot. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
Well, we got to figure it out. Today took us a major step back.
We bleed Jet green each and every day. This is not the same old Jet. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers. We have Garrett Wilson. Let's go. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. The Jet bandwagon is loaded. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go. It's a Monday after one of the worst Jet losses over the last 15 years. Before we bring on our guy Joe B in his weekly spot on the show, just want to thank everyone who tuned in to our post-game show yesterday. As of this recording, we had over 18,000 views. So Jet fans, we commiserate all together. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you do so. We talk Jets each and every day. And of course, make sure you like this video, even if you didn't like that debacle yesterday on the field. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now in his weekly spot is the great Joe Benigno, the host of the Oh the Pain podcast. Joe, I mean, where do you want to start after this debacle that you were lucky enough to be in attendance for?
Man, you know what? I'm banged up today from, I was, by the time I got home, I was waterlogged after this disaster. What a freaking disgrace. Let's start with the coaching staff here, okay? I mean, this team was not ready to play football yesterday. They got whipped on both sides of the ball on the line of scrimmage. We're watching the defense. The Bronco defense was in the backfield the entire game. They couldn't run the ball. Breece Hall ran for 4 yards. Rodgers, I'm not getting on Rodgers. He was running for his life the whole game. In fact, the best running back yesterday, Braylon Allen, was Rodgers. He had a couple big runs. Every throw he made that was a big throw was made basically on the run. He got hit a lot. He got sacked a few times. The offensive line was abysmal yesterday. And, oh, by the way, how about the 5 false start? 13 penalties in the game. How about the 5 false start penalties by the offensive line? And how about this, Jake? And to me, this is maybe the biggest point of the game, all right? First and goal on a 1-yard line. Where the hell is Braylon Allen with the football? Forget Breece Hall. You give it to Breece Hall first down, he gets stuffed. You give it to Breece Hall on second down, he gets stuffed. Braylon Allen, the first guy that hits Braylon Allen never tackles him. When he's on the 1-yard line, when we're on the 1 or we need a yard or whatever, I want 0 running with the football. I want 0 running with the football. And let's be honest about this too. And by the way, of course, Hall on first down, stop him. Hall on second down, stop him. I don't know what that play was on third down with the pass. And then they were going to go for it on 4th and 1, and it's a false start. And they got to kick the field goal. You got to be kidding me. And I'm going to tell you this too, Jake. These 2 big stars that we got, all right, they're getting a little too full of themselves. Breece Hall sucked yesterday. Garrett Wilson sucked yesterday. And I'm tired about hearing how good they are because they didn't show up to play in this game yesterday. 4 yards rushing for Hall, and I understand the offensive line stunk. 4 yards rushing for Hall. There was a play where Rodgers threw a pass to him where he made a business decision not to catch it because the defender was coming up and he was going to belt him. And as far as Garrett Wilson, he made 1 play all day, that play on the sideline, right? That was about the only one. Surtain ate him up. He had that fumble on the first drive of the game, even though it didn't hurt the Jets. Still, it set him back as far as field position. There was another play with him. I think it was the next to last drive of the game where, Rodgers throws a pass over the middle and Wilson's not even looking at it. He didn't even freaking turn around. I mean, it's a disgrace, bro. It's a disgrace. And the defense, okay, when the defense played okay, but again, the defense had the ball. They ran the ball down their throat, 130 yards rushing, whatever it was. This quarterback, Nick, he's terrible, but still made a couple big plays on the touchdown drive. He had a 3rd and 11, and he hit Cortland Sutton for a big first down. And then who's covering Sutton on the touchdown? He's wide open in the back of the end zone. Where the hell is the secondary on that play? Where are they, bro? The disgrace. And this head coach, I'm going to tell you right now, and I get the, and I'm telling you, and I know how you feel about this. You after the game, you could see Rodgers was disgusted. And when Salah made the comments about the cadence, because of all the false starts, maybe we got to change the cadence, maybe this, maybe that. And then they asked Rodgers the question, and he said, hey, maybe you got to hold people accountable. How about that? There's some issues there, bro. I got a feeling we saw this thing last week in the New England game. No, but, I don't want to make a big deal out of it, where Salah is, ready to do the, lambada, okay? After they take a 2-touchdown lead, and Rodgers is looking at him like, relax, we haven't done shit yet, okay? I don't know, man. I don't think Rodgers is too happy with this head coach. And I'm going to tell you right now, he's in trouble. And if somehow you look at this schedule that we got coming up, we got 3 brutal games coming up. The undefeated Vikings in Minnesota with Sam Darnold playing like he's Joe Montana. Then we got to go the Buffalo, who got whacked yesterday by the Ravens. We got to play a Monday night game at home against the Bills and then play Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. Are you serious? There's a good chance we could be 2-5, bro. And if we're 2-5 at that point, you telling me Salah's still the coach? I don't see it. I got to tell you, I don't see it at all. Honestly.
It's just there's just so much that is so concerning yesterday. And I've been someone who's tried to be patient with Salah and say he hasn't had the quarterback, but there's no excuse to lose that game when you have 9 days to prepare. Bo Nix was horrific yesterday. -6 yards passing at halftime. He finished with 60 for the game. The defense allows 10 points. You got to win that game. And like, even if Zerline hit that kick, Joe, this was just the Giant game, only they lost this time. Like, they would have completely stolen.
And let's be honest, you got to be worried about Zerline. Let's be honest. He missed we poo-pooed it last week when he missed it before halftime against New England because it really didn't matter. But this time, he usually buries 50-yard kicks, and this one wasn't even close. I mean, this game was fading like some of my drives do. I mean, it was, it was brutal, bro. I mean, it was. This is the kind of loss, and this is the first time really that Aaron Rodgers has experienced this kind of, jet-like loss that you and I, while you've been around a lot less than me, but we've been watching for freaking years, right? How many times have we seen the Jets lose a game like yesterday? Over and over and over again. Brutal, bro.
It's just it doesn't happen to really good teams. Like this cannot happen again. Otherwise, we're talking about, major wholesale changes happening because like you can't give away a game when you're a 8.5 point favorite by the time this line closed at kickoff, when you're at home. And like, it's like the Jets weren't prepared for the rain. Like, it just, I understand that affected some of the offense, but to not score an offensive touchdown, they score 1 touchdown. They give the ball to Braylon Allen. As you said, they win. It doesn't take a genius to realize if you give the ball to Braylon Allen 4 times to the goal line, chances are no one's stopping him. He's going to be able to score. And they're running this play action where they're trying to use Solomon Thomas as a receiver.
Unbelievable.
It's just, this was coaching yesterday. And, I thought the talent would basically be able to mask some of the concerns we had about the coach, but the penalties has been a thing for 4 years now. It's unacceptable. I mean, how is Will McDonald not aware how to line up
in the neutral zone?
It's just, Breece Hall is a running back getting a false started twice. Like he was awful yesterday. Awful. I don't know what has happened to him, but he was so bad yesterday. Just they're not good enough to overcome both Garrett and Breece, the superstars on this offense, both having like terrible games.
Bro, you hit it. These guys have done nothing in their careers yet. These guys have done garbage. I'm tired of hearing about it. What have they done? I mean, let's be real. They've been here for 2 years. We've won nothing. I know they're nice players, and they're going to want their money. But you know what? Right now, they sucked yesterday. There's no other way to say it. And I think these 2 guys are starting to read their press clippings and think they're a lot better than they are. I mean, I think there's something to that, bro. And again, that kind of stuff goes back to coaching too.
Yep, all of it.
And that's the coaching too. This guy does not hold the players accountable. Look, he's a nice guy. I had this relationship with whatever. We really don't text. We really don't talk or text anymore. Haven't all year really. He stinks. He's 20 and 35 for a reason. And this was abysmal yesterday. There's no other way to say it. Where's the accountability for these guys on his team? There is none. There's no accountability at all. Where's Quinnen Williams, bro? I get it. They're double teaming him. But what the hell is he doing on the defensive line? These guys, Kinlaw, he stinks. Thomas, he stinks. They can't stop the run. Outside of Quincy Williams is the best defensive player on the team. It's not even close. Quincy Williams might be the best linebacker in football. I mean, come on. And I know they only gave up 10 points, but they ran the ball down our throats, bro. Come on.
Yeah, it's just maddening because like I feel silly at times like criticizing the defense, but it's like you can't lose this game. Like you can't and there's people today blaming Rodgers, and it's like, did we watch the same game? The only somewhat positive in this game,
this was not on Rodgers at all.
Joe, the only somewhat positive of this game is Aaron Rodgers wasn't stretchered off because I thought I was shocked he made it through this game. I mean, he was hurt at the end there. His mobility was zapped at the end there. They're lucky that he's according to Robert Salah this morning, he's not going to be on the injury report and he's going to be okay. I mean, the way the offensive line played in pass protection after they were so good the first 3 weeks, it was stunning. They couldn't pick up a blitz. It's like they never saw it coming.
Terrible. The offensive line. I don't want to blame the kid Fasano. Don't blame him. They all sucked. Every one of them stunk in this game. And the false starts and all of that, this was a abysmal performance. This football team was a little too full of themselves after that Patriot game. I'm telling you, that's what it is. And I put it squarely on this coach. There's no accountability for mistakes with this franchise. He's not hard on the team. There's no doubt about it. And I'm telling you could see the frustration in Rodgers' face at the press conference. He is not happy with this head coach. Let's be honest about it. And nobody's going to say that in public, but you could see it, Jake. You could see it.
You could see he was annoyed with we were just getting, and like Salah tried to walk it back this morning with the whole cadence stuff. He's like, I was talking about the whole operation. We're always going to have the cadence, but it's like, I mean, they didn't lose this game yesterday because of Aaron Rodgers. They lost this game squarely because of coaching. And like and I've been, at times try to be, a little more patient with Salah just because he's never had a quarterback, but there's just too much talent on this team to lose 10-9 to Bo Nix at home with 9 days to prepare. It's unacceptable.
No. 7.5 point, 8-point favorite. I mean, you can't come out and play. And I don't want to hear about the rain. It was a crummy day yesterday. It was an ugly game. You got to find a way to win that game. And I totally blame it on the head coach. And they were lucky at the end. They were lucky they had a shot at the end. I mean, Sean Payton was basically playing not to lose at the end of the game. He's playing 100%. For a 50-something yard field goal at the end of the game. So, what else can I say, bro? I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted with the football team. And we should know better. We've seen this game over and over and over again. And now we got Aaron Rodgers, and we're still freaking seeing this game.
Yeah, that to me is just what has destroyed me the last, not even 24 hours. It's like we should now be past these type of games when that guy is your quarterback, and to still lose this game that we like. This was the Patriot game last year at MetLife. This was the Falcon game in the rain with Boyle at like that like it's fitting. Zach Wilson was on the field, on the sideline yesterday in the building because this was a 2023 Jet loss.
By the way, how about John Franklin Myers yesterday? He had a pretty damn good game, right? How did we let this guy go? What a mistake. This whole Hassan Reddick thing has killed them. It's killing them. They let Myers go. They let Huff go. This guy doesn't want to play football for us. And what a major mistake this has been for Joe Douglas. Let's be honest about it.
No, it's awful all around, and they can't survive any more games like this. Like I agree with you. If they're 2-5, then you start talking about for the first time ever.
He's gonna be gone, bro. How does he survive 2-5? We're going to be happy they win one game here. Then we're going to be happy after Pittsburgh if they're 3-4, and that's unacceptable.
Yeah,
think about that.
If Robert Salah wants to show us that he's the guy, you go beat the Vikings now in London and hand them their first loss. They're not going 17-0. Garrett Wilson's not facing Patrick Surtain on Sunday. Breece Hall needs to wake up. Like the Vikings, they played great. Give them credit. They nearly blew a 28-0 lead yesterday. Like this, if they are the team that we think they are, referring to the Jets, like no excuse. Bounce back. You're 2-2. You saw the Bills get destroyed last night. You're just one game back, but it's like it's tough to truly believe, knowing that despite the talent, a game like yesterday just reminds you they probably have a significant coaching problem, and it starts with the head coach, and it's tough to overcome that. Yeah,
no, there's no doubt about it. There's no question about it. Football, let me tell you something. Everybody talks about football. The most important position is the quarterback. The most important position is the head coach in the NFL. If you got a crummy head coach, maybe if you have a great quarterback, maybe he can mask it a little bit, but eventually even that is going to catch up to you. There's no question about it. If you got a terrible freaking head coach. And this guy stinks. He's 20-35, bro. There's no getting away from the record. And the only reason he's still coaching the team is because Rodgers got hurt last year. Or he would have been gone. He would have been gone. Because the excuses are over. The nonsense is over. This team's got to start playing football, and they got to start playing it this week. And I'll tell you right now, if these guys, if Breece Hall's going to play like he played, bench his ass and play the kid. Because right now the kid's a better running back than Breece Hall. Let's be honest about it. Is he? There's no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt.
It's just I don't know what happened with Breece. Like it doesn't make any sense how a guy.
I'm telling you, bro, he's reading he's a young guy that thinks he's better than he is, and it's the same thing with Wilson. Same thing with Wilson, and that to me goes back to coaching. That's on the coaches. Okay, let's be honest. I mean, like Roger said, where's the goddamn accountability in this game? There is none. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It can't happen. Like you cannot lose that game. Like even if you're like, and once again, like I've been someone with Salah. Like, yeah, the record sucks. You try to add some context to it. He's never had a quarterback. But when you have Aaron Rodgers and you're still losing 10-9 to Bo Nix, like your biggest fear about this team comes to life when you lose that game.
Yep. No question about it. And they're in some trouble now with the schedule that's coming up. I mean, let's make no mistake. They're not going to win these next 3 games. If somehow they went 2-1, you'd be doing a dance. Don't count on that happening either. I'll tell you right now.
Show up on Sunday, and I'm dreading this flight to London now, Joe. I got to tell you.
I can't believe you're going. You're actually. When are you leaving, by the way?
Wednesday night.
You're leaving Wednesday night. All right.
Land Thursday morning, and then I'm thinking to myself, "Oh God, am I about to fly 7 hours out?
Right.
Different time zone, time difference. They're 5 hours ahead.
When are you coming back, by the way?
Monday morning, but because of the travel. I take off Monday morning, UK time, and I land Monday morning in the US. I'm going back in time.
Now, so we will not be doing the show next Monday.
Yes, I got to talk to you about. We could probably do it just later in the day, Monday, if you're available.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that. We'll talk about it.
Comments, questions. Yep, comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. You were at the game. What did you think of the Lazard finger pointer nonsense? Were you aware what they called it when you were in real time?
No, I couldn't tell what they were calling. I knew it was obviously on Lazard. I really couldn't tell. I mean, some of that stuff is, come on. You know what I mean? I mean, what was he doing? Is he doing it at a defender right in his face?
No, he caught a nice pass and went like this for first down, and they flagged him. It was ridiculous. These guys, the only penalty he had an issue with.
Was Ron Tolbert the lead referee in this game?
Oh, of course he was.
He stinks. They all stink, bro. They couldn't wait. The first quarter, right? 5 minutes into the game, they had 7 or 8 penalties already on 7 or 8 flags they threw already. It's brutal. Brutal.
Horrible. Some super chats are coming in here as we talk with Joe B and his weekly spot. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, check out Joe's podcast, the Oh the Pain podcast, which, Joe, I mean, it was all good. 11 days ago we were on top of the world at the Hackensack Brewing Company. Now the Jets they know how to jet. It is
what?
unreal.
Maybe I'm in, and I thank you so much for the Rodgers jersey. I might have to put it on sooner. Maybe I'm gonna have to rethink this, bro. I might have to rethink it. Because right now, I mean, after that garbage yesterday, you got to be concerned about it, man. Like we're talking.
I'm telling you, they are so lucky that he was not critically hurt. He was hit 15 times in this game yesterday. It was ridiculous.
Well, how many times did they sack him? And I tell you, man, he showed a lot of mobility. I thought he was getting out of the pocket and making plays. He had those 2. The one time he had like a designed run for like about 8 yards. It looked like it was a designed run. And how about this, Jake? How many times? And we've seen this for years. How many times did Jets get 8-9 yards on first down and they don't get the first down? How many times? Whether they get stuffed, whether they throw an incomplete pass on third down, or they get another goddamn penalty. Unbelievable.
It's just, I cannot believe they lost that game yesterday. But Bo Nix is so bad. So bad. You can't lose to him. That was so
unbelievable.
Brutal. I had a wedding immediately after the game, Joe. Yeah, he stinks. I was miserable last night. I had to go to a wedding on the east end of Long Island last night, and it was horrible. It just
the only thing that saved my day yesterday. I'll give you 2 things that saved my day. Number one, the Mets winning.
Yep.
And now, of course, they got to win 1 game against Atlanta. They got this doubleheader today, and I'm let's be honest, I'm freaking out about that too. I mean, it would be so Met-like if they lose a doubleheader to the Braves, And it loses a doubleheader because if the Braves win the first game, they clinch. Could you imagine the Mets losing both games when the Braves don't even need the second game? So I'm a little. Thank God they won yesterday. Peterson pitched great, but I'm concerned about that. The other thing, and I got to give credit to this guy, and I got to find him. My buddy Hayden in Washington. I'm listening to the post-game show afterwards. He eviscerated Greg Buttle.
Oh, was Buttle trying to justify the loss?
Who is the biggest shill and homer in the history of the New York Jets. They're never bad, and Hayden was brilliant. I mean, he just killed them. It was great. He never rips. Buttle never questions the coach. He never questions the players. So I'm trying to. I know Hayden from a long time ago. He used to call me on the overnights. So I'm trying to. I said this, and maybe if some of your guys that listen to your show, watch your show, anybody out there that knows how I can get in contact with Hayden in Washington D.C., please give Jake the information so I can get him on my podcast. That was the highlight of my day. listening to him rip the shit out of Greg Buttle. I have to tell you.
It's tough to argue after that. It was the worst coaching performance I think you can argue from Salah. And once again, I have been patient with Salah, but I have said they got to win this year. He's got to go. A game like yesterday is something we will look back on if this team doesn't reach their goals and say this cannot be accepted. He's not the guy. They cannot continue moving forward with him because you just can't lose yesterday. They should be 3-1 right now. They should be one of the few teams in the NFL that's 3-1. Thank God the Bills got destroyed yesterday, so they're still just a game back. But it's like you can't take the Jets seriously when they're capable of that type of performance at home.
Absolutely, and we've seen it so many times over the years. Different coaches, I said this a million times. They changed the players, they changed the coaches, they changed the owner, they changed the practice facility. They changed the stadium. All of this stuff changes. But the results never change, bro. Never freaking change. We've seen that game so many times over the years. It's disgusting. You just a typical crappy Jet loss. Unbelievable.
It's horrific. Make sure you guys check out Joe's podcast. Oh, the Pain. Is the episode dropping later today, Joe?
Yeah, it'll be. I already did it, so it'll be coming out. Yeah.
Check it out where you get your podcast. Speaking of podcasts, by the way, we announced it the other day. This show you're watching on YouTube is now available in audio form on both Apple and Spotify. So if you want the Jake Asman Show in audio form, now you can get it wherever you get your podcast. Some super chats here. Tyrone writes in, I don't know what happened to Hall, but while he's in limbo, they need to use Allen. We should have won that game. However, looking at the NFL, no one's really looking good. Hi, Joe. Great to see you. Go Jets. That's like the Jet only saving grace that the Jets right now are technically the 5th seed in the AFC playoffs because of how bad the rest of the conference has been.
Yeah. Well, let's not get crazy. 5th seed, 4 games into it and a disgusting performance. So, and a very tough schedule coming up.
No doubt. No, I mean, look, show us something. Go beat the Vikings. Hand them their first loss. They're not going 17-0. Yeah, they're 2.5 point underdog. They opened up.
Yeah, let's not see Sam, because all week what we're going to hear about is Sam Darnold, the revenge game, and this and that. Let's stick it up Sam Darnold's ass, okay?
Seriously.
Let's bring him down to earth a little bit this week. That would be nice.
I mean, and here's the thing, too. By no means do I feel like defending the Jets this morning. Sam Darnold's on his 3rd team since he left the Jets. This idea that he sucked in Carolina, he sat behind Purdy for a year. The Jets were supposed to wait 7 years for Sam Darnold to eventually be a capable, competent quarterback. It's such an overrated storyline, but we'll hear about it all week because it's LOL Jets, and you know what? They deserve it after how they played on Sunday.
Yep.
Omari says, I was at the game. Team came out flat. Offense looks outdated. Ground and pound game. Running back should have thrived. Yeah, I mean, for Brees to suck the way he did, unbelievable. But you have Braylon Allen there. Yep. He's 240 pounds of sheer muscle. Just give him the ball at the goal line.
The first guy never tackles him. There was even a play yesterday. I think he only got a yard, but he got hit at the line of scrimmage or maybe behind it, broke a tackle, and still was able to, gain you get some positive yardage out of it. This guy never goes down with the first hit. Never.
Nope.
And he's got to be the guy on the goal line. I don't want to hear it anymore. He's got to be the guy. You need a yard. The ball's got to be given to Braylon Allen. That's it.
Omari writes in, cadences weren't the issue. Lack of focus. Thank God Bills lost. Media will have a field day with New York today, and sadly, well-deserved. I'm telling you, the only positive is that Buffalo looked horrible when they played a really good Ravens team. That's it.
Yeah.
Doug says,
the Ravens have righted the ship after the 0-2 start. That's for sure.
And that's the thing. When they were 0-2, it's like they deserve the benefit of the doubt because they have a winning pedigree. Like the Jets don't deserve the benefit of the doubt despite being 2-2. It's like,
and by the way, Derrick Henry looks like he's found the fountain of youth in Baltimore.
First carry, 87 yards yesterday. Crazy.
Yep.
Doug writes, and Joe, when Salah gets fired, who do you want for the new head coach?
Well, I'll tell you the guy I want. I mean, look. If he gets fired in the middle of the year, they're going to give it to like Ulbrich. I don't think Nathaniel Hackett would get it, but then again, I'm sure Rodgers would have a lot to say. I want Rex back. You know what I want? I want Rex Ryan back. And you can't tell me that Rex Ryan wouldn't jump to take this job back.
Oh, yeah.
Let's bring the band back. Get rid of if things go completely south now in this year, get rid of Douglas, get rid of Salah, bring in Rex, and give me Mike Tannenbaum. Get these guys off TV and get them back where they belong, running our freaking football team. Okay?
I'll tell you what, they don't lose that game yesterday if Rex Ryan is the coach.
No way.
And by the way, the other thing that I don't want to kill the defense because once again, they allowed 10 points in the end of the day. But how is Sauce Gardner on 3rd and goal not on Cortland Sutton, their only good wide receiver? Why have him? Like he needs to shadow Justin Jefferson the entire game this upcoming week. Like just like Surtain followed Garrett Wilson.
Sauce Gardner even on the field. Patrick Surtain was all over Garrett Wilson the entire game.
Yep.
How is Sauce Gardner right? You're 100% right. Where is he? How are they using this guy? And he's half the time you don't even know he's playing.
He wasn't targeted in coverage, but it's like, okay, we'll put him on Cortland Sutton. Like shut him down, take him out of the game.
Unbelievable. No, you're right.
Dylan writes in, head coach, OC, offensive players, no passion yesterday. They were just flat, man. It's like you're right. They read their press clippings. Oh, we're so good after New England. And it was the Robert Salah special. And I thought, hey, they wouldn't be able to come out flat because Rodgers is 13-0 when he has 9 days of rest playing at home. And like every positive Rodgers stat, he's never lost on Monday Night Football. What were they lost week 1? This stat about the rest advantage. Now they lost like becoming a Jet nullifies the incredible history of Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, welcome to the New York Jets. Like I said, yesterday was the first time he lost a game that, in typical Jet fashion. That was yesterday. Welcome to the Jets, Aaron.
Neil with the super chat. Thank you, Neil. Neil had his shirt off yesterday in the parking lot leading Jet chants, and then he got to watch that slog. Ugh.
Neil, you had your shirt off yesterday? Are you sick today or what? Because I'm not 100% today. I can tell you that. I'm still a little banged up from yesterday's disaster in the rain.
Who'd you go to the game with, by the way? Your grandson again?
No. I went with my cousin Danny, my cousin Bro. He asked me, asked me late to go. And I said, it wasn't supposed to rain yesterday.
No.
Vegas Day was not supposed to rain yesterday. And it freaking rained all goddamn day. I mean, it couldn't have been worse, So I'd already committed to going, so I wasn't not going to go. So what are you going to do?
Yeah. Thankfully, this is the one.
No, I wouldn't bring my grandson to sit out in that slop yesterday.
No.
I'll tell you that.
And I feel for the season ticket holder, too, from this standpoint. It's the only 1:00 game at MetLife for the Jets until now, December 1st. This was supposed to be good weather and miserable. Now all these other games are night games, and they don't play at 1:00 until December now. It's going to be cold by then.
Unbelievable. What a disgrace.
Chew with a membership gift. Thank you, Chew. Kervin writes in, what do you think the Vikings defense is going to do Sunday? Blitz, blitz, blitz. I mean, they like Denver blitzes the most in the league. I'm pretty sure Brian Flores in Minnesota is number 2. Like this offensive line better wake up and pass protect. Otherwise, Rodgers is not making it through another game like that. He's just not.
How about we blitz a little more on defense than we do?
Yeah.
We do that. And how about Will McDonald lining up how many times did he line up in the goddamn neutral zone yesterday? I mean, what are we doing? What is this? What is this? It's all coaching, bro. I'm sorry. It all comes down to the coaching. No doubt about it.
Hooser writes in, seems like Salah wants to be one of the guys, not their effing coach, no one held accountable. I mean, like Rodgers even alluded to it after the game. How about we hold these guys accountable instead of just changing our offense because they can't do it?
Yeah, I'm with you. That's what he wants. That's it. He's like a glorified cheerleader.
K&D, Joe B standing on business this morning. Yeah, absolutely. Quasimodo Wilson. That game was lost the minute after we won the Pats game. Head coach does not know how to keep them hungry after a good win. Complacency. I mean, Rodgers all week talked about handling success. They don't know how to handle any success.
Yeah, none.
Bang writes in, Joe, I've been telling them about Salah. Now they say, look, I mean, they either win or he's gone. That's it. Like they were not going to fire Salah, I didn't think, after last year when Rodgers got hurt. So I go into the year, we all try to be supportive as fans, but it's now or never.
He may not make the season. I'm telling you, if they're 2-5 after Pittsburgh, I think he's out. I think there's a good chance he's gone. I really do. I got to say that. I think there is.
Mr. Reality says, Joe, these listeners overrate Garrett Wilson, Sauce, Hall, Salah. I don't think anyone's overrating Salah. I just think the Jets' young stars need to play like it. Garrett Wilson has not been Garrett Wilson yet. Hall has not looked anywhere close to the guy who was second in the NFL in yards from scrimmage last year with worse personnel.
And by the way, you think Sauce Gardner will ever get an interception again? I mean, do we ever think? Let's be honest about that. And he's right. Mr. Reality here is dead on what he's saying. Overrated with Garrett Wilson, overrated with Breece Hall, overrated with Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner is not a pimple on Darrelle Revis's ass. Okay, let's tell it like it is. All right. Revis Island. I know they don't throw all the time at him. Revis was on the best guy. He took the best receiver out every damn game.
The entire game. Yep.
And when Rex was there, we had Revis and Cromartie. Okay. We blitzed constantly. This team really freaking blitzes. This defensive line couldn't be more overrated than it is. It's a disgrace. It really is. It's a disgrace.
Peter says even Rodgers can't overcome the coaching staff. I mean,
right.
like
that's right.
New England,
that's right.
like that's what it could look like when it's at its best. Like Rodgers still has it, but like when it's not, at their best, when things are a little off, it's like this coaching staff is incapable of helping Aaron Rodgers get him across the finish line. Like they should have won that game 1,000 out of 1,000 times yesterday. It's
unbelievable. And again, the ultimate indignity that at the end, it still looked like they had a chance to win the game. Denver does everything they can to say, here, you still got a shot to win. And the kicker misses the kick. I'm very, one thing about kickers, and Evan and I would talk about this all the time. And I know Zerline's been a good kicker throughout his career. But one thing about kickers, they're like relief pitchers. Yep. 1 year they're Mariano Rivera, and then the next year they're Adam Ottavino. So, you got to be worried. You got to be worried about Zerline right now. I'm concerned about Zerline right now.
A couple other things off that point. Special teams is a problem right now. You got Morstead, who's great, but Herb Charles.
How about the play by Charles? How about Charles running the guy over on a fair catch? What are you doing?
Every game he picks up a roughing penalty, and I'm sorry, Xavier Gibson is a nothing on kick returns right now on punt returns. Can they try and get Malachi Corley involved? The Jets are leaking to all the beat reporters after the draft. Oh, he was our fourth highest receiver on the board. Well, with the game on the line, why is Aaron Rodgers throwing a fade route to a 5'8", on the same height as Xavier Gibson? Right. And that's where we're going with the ball with the game on the line. Where's Malachi Corley?
This whole kickoff rule is nonsense. Come on, get rid of it already now. Don't even play. Don't even go another week with it. Just get it the hell out. It's a joke.
Big fella. We could still take the AFC East. Bills are frauds. Let's move on from the game. We get our bleep together and take it to the Vikings. Show us something, right? This team's as good as we thought they were. Go beat the Vikings. I don't know
if the Bills are frauds. I'll tell you why they're not, because they got the quarterback. Quarterbacks are these. Patrick Mahomes is the best. He's probably the next guy. The quarterback they're always going to make them dangerous.
Bang Mateo is right about Salah. He's not a head coach, Joe. I mean, not right now.
Bang is right. I can't disagree with him, man. He's been terrible. 20-35. Bill Parcells said it. Okay, one of the great Hall of Fame coach. You are what your record says you are, and your record says that you suck as a head coach.
Yeah, and I understand the quote. What annoys me is there's never context added to it, but that's why I was going into the year. It's the record sucks. We all understand that. We understand he's never had a quarterback, but now you have the quarterback and you're not winning. You're still having 2023 results. That's a problem. It's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Nothing but nets. The overreaction's wild. Y'all are something else. Look, how are we supposed to react after you lose?
Net fan? He's a Net fan.
Yeah, he's a Net fan.
You're a Net fan. You're a Net fan? Your team is an absolute abomination, okay? How Sean Marks is still the GM of that team, you tell me, and you're ripping us here? Oh, please. The overreaction? There's no overreaction. We haven't won a Super Bowl game in 56 freaking years, okay? We haven't been to the Super Bowl in 56 years, okay? I haven't won it, haven't been there. 56 years. We have the longest drought in professional sports in this country without making a playoff. This country or North America itself without making the playoffs. 14 years in, not just football, every sport, hockey, basketball, baseball, every sport. What overreaction? There's no overreaction. We got Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback now. The quarterback is not Zach Wilson anymore. Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback. There is no overreaction. This was a goddamn disgrace yesterday. No other way to say it.
Jesus Jerry writes in, Joe, greetings from Australia. Most of us understand, but explain to the non-Jet fans just how diabolical yesterday was and why we're pissed off.
How's things down under? You playing golf down there? How is it? I'm not a big fan of Australia, by the way, but I don't want to get into any of that stuff. You heard me. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you got to be pissed off if you're a Jet fan. There's no other way to be. There's no other way to be.
Storyline, I told you Brees was mid. Did Brady or Manning have any memorable running backs on championship teams? Screw a balanced offense. Make sure these guys get their touches. I mean, it's almost like, Joe, they're like afraid to like piss off Brees Hall by using Braylon Allen more. Like they're concerned about Hall's feelings as he's the featured guy. Like that's BS. Brees is not playing well. It's not your day. Braylon Allen needs to get the touches. To not use him when he's 245 pounds of sheer muscle at the goal line is a disgrace. And
sit him down. You know what, bro? You know what? Play Allen. Let Allen be the feature back next week in Minnesota. Send Hall a message. You want to play like a star, or you want to play like some 8th round draft choice, not even 8 rounds. That kind of guy. Right now, Braylon Allen is a better back. I'm sorry. As far as just running the football, Braylon Allen is better right now. I'm sorry.
He's played better. You can't. It's undisputable. Yep. Len writes in, I'm the same age as Joe B. Haven't seen their only Super Bowl at age 15. It always seems like they find a way to lose. The head coach is too soft on these players.
No question. He's 100% right. 100% right. Too soft.
Dana writes in.
Too much. Like you've been saying, he's too much. Wants to be buddy with these guys.
Yeah, I mean, hold him accountable. Like it's now or never. Guarantee you all flip on Braylon if he has one single false start.
No,
roller coaster
Braylon's
fans.
A rookie. You know what? Braylon Allen's a rookie. He was a 4th round draft choice. Okay, and it was a steal as a 4th round draft choice. No. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to say that because of one false start. Nobody's saying that. They're anointing Brees Hall. He's one of the top backs in football. I've even said it. Marshall Faulk, please. He was no Marshall Faulk yesterday. He was more like David Faulk, if you know who he is.
Yeah, Michael Jordan's agent, sure.
Right, that's right.
Chef Kevin says, Jake, have a safe trip over the pond. Thank you, Kevin. Besides getting soaked and seeing no touchdowns, best thing about yesterday was seeing Joe B in the parking lot. Go Jets.
Thank you. God bless.
How was the tailgate, Joe? Was that wet as well?
I didn't really because my cousin had field passes, and that was kind of a disaster. But nevertheless, so I really didn't tell you. I went by, saw Fireman Ed. I stopped in to see Ed just to say hello. I did not go to the Winters Bros, so I really didn't do any tailgate. I actually ate in the club where my cousin has his tickets. So I really didn't do any tailgating yesterday. Plus, it was raining.
Yeah, awful. Bang Mateo, what does Salah do on the damn sidelines?
Great. He walks up and down. He gives chest bumps. I mean, what is it? You tell me. He looks good. He looks good, and he looks good. That's it. What else can I tell you?
Yvonne, it took 4 weeks for head coach quarterback drama. LOL.
Yeah, and I think there is, I think there is head coach quarterback drama. Just looking at the way Rodgers was in that press conference after the game, you could see he's like, wait a minute, this coach stinks. You can see like it's going through his head. You know what I mean? You can see
Jimbo. This isn't baseball. You play in their elements, game plan and scheme, players pregame, not run the stairs, do even practice, make easy, look hard, shake my effing head. Here's the thing, right?
Is that what that means? SMFH?
Yeah.
Shake my effing what?
Shaking my effing head.
Oh, head. Oh, I thought, okay.
I was thinking about this. Rodgers still made some like incredible like individual plays, throws.
Of course.
But nothing was easy yesterday from like a scheme standpoint. Like
nothing.
No guys were running free. Like any semblance of offense they had was just like a great individual play by either Rodgers or Mike Williams. Made a couple nice plays. Like they were not prepared for anything Denver had. And I get it. What's his name's a really good defensive coach, Vance Joseph. But like, give me a break. Like this was completely unacceptable to score 9 points at home. I don't care what the conditions are.
Yep. Could agree more, bro. You know that.
Adam, where's Corley? Better than Gibson. Give him snaps. Agreed. Talked about that earlier. Curvin.
You're going to say, well, he doesn't run route. They're going to give you the nonsense. He doesn't run routes right. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. Please.
Joe B, first play sack, game over. I mean, it was a bad sign when the first play of the game was a sack. There's no doubt.
Yeah. No, you're right. 100%. And then the third play of the game was a fumble by Garrett Wilson.
Brutal. And the defense picked him up, and it didn't end. But it's just like you're giving away a possession right there. Brutal. Let's face it, receipt boy isn't a head coach right now. Robert Salah is an excellent defensive coordinator at this point. That's all he is at this point until proven otherwise.
I don't know if there's any truth to the rumor, but after he lost to the Niners, when Shanahan greeted him at midfield, I heard that Shanahan said, "Don't worry, Robert. When they fire you in New York, you'll be back here as my defensive coordinator. Don't worry."
You got a job. Donnie says, "Joe, do you think Woody would bring back Rex and Tannenbaum?"
Maybe. Look, I think it's something you got to think about. I mean, let's be honest. Next to Weeb Eubank, okay, and I don't want to hear about Parcells because Parcells underachieved in his 3 years here. We made the playoffs one time. We lost in the AFC Championship game. You know, he started Rick Meyer after the injury to Testaverde, which was a major mistake. He stunk, and that really cost us that season. He blew it. We should have made the playoffs in year one, you know, when he basically took the ball out of Neil O'Donnell's hands in that game against the Lions, that if we won would have put us in the playoffs. This next to Eubank, who won us a championship, Rex Ryan's the best coach we ever had. Let's tell it like it is. And you know, Walt Michaels did some good things, but to me, Rex Ryan was the best coach we've had outside of Weeb Eubank. Case closed.
Here's the thing with Rex. He has a higher winning percentage than Belichick does without Brady. So without Brady, Rex Ryan has actually had a higher winning percentage, and Rex has never had anywhere near the talent that you know, Belichick obviously had in his coaching career.
Yeah. No, hey, look, I hear you, bro. What can I tell you? Oh, I think I lost you. Do you see me now?
I see you, Joe. You see me?
I do not see you. I do not.
You can hear me, though.
I do hear you. I don't know. I lost it here. My wife's not downstairs, so because I am such a brutal, have no technological ability at all, what can I tell you? So.
You're good. A couple minutes left for Joe B. See if
let's go. Because I got to play some golf. I got to take a shower. Then I got to come back and watch my baseball team. Get ready to spit the bit. You know.
Are you confident in the Mets, or are you?
No, I'm not. I'm not confident at all. And I know they're going to lose the first game, and it's going to come down to the second game, and we're going to be sweating bullets.
Who's your daddy says it seems like Brees is dancing before he runs. He doesn't look like he's comfortable. He doesn't have the explosiveness. Like it really doesn't make any sense because this is the guy with the arguably one of the worst offensive lines in the league last year, right? 13 O-line combinations in 17 games. He was second in the NFL in yards from scrimmage. His last game was against Belichick, and he ran for 200 yards, basically. It doesn't make any sense why he's not the same guy right now.
I mean, Brees had a tremendous year last year, considering how our offense was and that Zach Wilson and Boyle and all these stiffs with a quarterback, you know? So, I mean, but this year, I'm telling you, reading the press clippings, he really is. He is not. I know he scored a couple touchdowns, but still, him and Wilson have not been good this year.
No, they better wake up
like it is.
We're 4 games in. They better wait because they're capable of going out there and playing great in London and completely, flipping the whole narrative on this season. But they got to do it, man. No one wants to hear it. They got to do it.
Yep.
Luke writes in, speaking as a Lions fan, I know the pain, fellas. Jets need to hire Mike Vrabel as their head coach ASAP. He commands respect and has legitimate pedigree. I mean, he's someone.
Mike Vrabel, I think, is a possibility if Salah goes. I would say that. Yes.
But if they fired Salah in season, I think Ulbrich is the interim head coach. I don't think.
They won't go out. No, it'll be Ulbrich unless Aaron says Hackett's the coach. You never know.
Mr. Bonesy says, blame Hackett more. Offense lost us that game. Rodgers has to keep changing plays because the calls are awful. Relax. If we beat the Vikings, then what?
We'll see. Well, let's beat the Vikings. Let's not get crazy. Let me see them win this game coming up. Let me see it.
Wayne writes in, if the season goes bad, Joe, would you keep Joe Douglas? I feel like he's been our best GM in years, despite a few boneheaded mistakes.
No, I wouldn't keep Joe Douglas, and I'll tell you why. Few boneheaded mistakes. Mekhi Becton, number 1 draft choice, garbage. What's his name? This Mims, the 2nd round pick the first time, garbage. Zach Wilson, garbage. This guy, Will McDonald, how good is he really? I know he's had 5.5 sacks. Okay. The whole Hassan Reddick disaster. He let Bryce Huff go. He let Franklin Myers go. Really? Has he really been that good? He hit 1 draft class, and right now the 2 biggest guys of that draft class, well, all 3 of them, even put Sauce in there too. What are they doing? So I don't know. Douglas goes too. Screw him. Out. Get me Tannenbaum back, please.
Well, here's the thing too. Douglas hired Salah, so now we're going to let Douglas hire another coach and commit to him for years to come?
Absolutely not.
To me, they're attached to the hip. They either win together or there's going to be changes.
I'm with you.
Philly writes in, morning, fellas. Need to know for my sanity who called the goal line plays for Brees for 2 runs and then Allen for play action. F out of here. We need cohesion. Horrific. And you just got the feeling when they didn't score there, you knew that was going to come back to bite them.
Of course you did. And then to make it even worse, the false start on 4th and 1. How about that?
15 penalties, 13 accepted yesterday. How? You're at home. You're not supposed to have 6 penalties.
It's unfreaking believable.
John, Salah sucks after long breaks, inconsistent staff. I mean, I really thought Rodgers would nullify the Salah F long layoff starts because, okay, Aaron Rodgers 13-0 with 9 days of rest playing at home. And all these great Rodgers stats, they don't matter because he's a Jet now. And the Jet effect is now taking over. And welcome to the Jets, as you say.
Amen. I can't say it better. You're right.
Oh, my God. It just absolutely horrific. Absolutely horrific. Joe, the The Pain podcast, it will be out tonight, available where podcasts are. Make sure people check it out. And look, I mean, this is a massive game coming up next Sunday. They because you know if they lose, then it's going to be, oh my God, the Bills are coming to town, and
here we go.
We're staring at the spiral already. The October
if we lose this game, I'll just tell you this: if we lose this game, the Salah watch is on.
Yep.
If it's not on already, it'll sure as hell be on if they lose to Minnesota. There's no doubt about it.
DJ with our last super chat. Salute to Joe Benigno for always keeping it real about the Jets from day one.
Thank you, guys.
Joe, good luck to your Mets today.
I got to go. What's that?
Good luck to your Mets today, Joe. I'm hoping they win just for you.
Yeah, all we need is one win. But I'm telling you, watch. They're going to lose game one. Tyler McGill's pitching against this Schellenbach, or whatever his name is, who always kills the Mets. They'll lose game one, and we will be shitting bricks in game two. Get ready.
Joe, but by the way, happy belated birthday.
Thank you, bro. God bless.
I'm sorry.
Another great birthday present from my football team. My football team never wins when it's my birthday week. Never. I don't know what the record is. I'd like to go back and see. It can't be good. I'll tell you that.
That's brutal. Joe, you're the best. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for coming
Do
on.
me a favor, bro. So let's just now. Yeah, we'll scratch Monday. We'll do it on Tuesday at 10 o'clock. All right.
Tuesday at 10. We'll make it happen.
From across the pond, and I'll leave you with this, bro. Tally ho.
Fifth cheerio, Joe Benigno in his spot with us here on the show. Man, I just oh, the pain, as Joe would say. Oh, the pain. Comments, questions, super chats. I'll stay on a little while longer. I'm going to put the Gusbuster hotline link in the chat if you want to call in and be a part of the show. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel. Joe joins us after every single Jets games, typically at 10. Because I'm coming back from London, we'll do Joe in all likelihood Tuesday next week. Jets better win, though, man. I'm dreading the flight back from London if they lose. Dreading it. It's just horrible. If you want bonus content away from YouTube, join my Patreon, patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. And if you're coming to London, make sure you guys RSVP to the London party that I am co-hosting with Gangrene UK and Gotham City crew. Free event, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. at the Hippodrome Casino. Make sure you guys RSVP. If you're coming out, there'll be food and drinks there. We'll all be hanging out, and it's going to be a great time, regardless what happens the next day when the Jets take on Darnold and the Vikings. Jets, by the way, have opened up as a 2.5-point underdog against Minnesota. And here's the thing, right? As bad as the Jets played yesterday, there's really no excuse for them not to bounce back and beat the Vikings. The Vikings are not going 17-0. All right? Beat them. Beat them. I don't want to hear it. All right? I don't want to hear it. Bounce back. Your stars need to be stars. That's the storyline we're watching this week. Garrett Wilson needs to break out. He's not facing Patrick Surtain. He's not facing L'Jarius Sneed. He's not facing Charvarius Ward. He's not facing Christian Gonzalez. Garrett Wilson needs to go off. Time to. You want to be paid like a number one wide receiver? And I love Garrett, and I think he will. I think he'll rise to the challenge. That's what I need to see this week. All right, and Breece Hall's got to wake up, man. Because it's unacceptable how he played yesterday. And if Braylon Allen's feeling it, use him. And if there's 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, or you're at the goal line, give him the rock. You mean to tell me if they gave the ball 3 times at the goal line to Braylon Allen yesterday, they don't score a touchdown? I mean, waking up today, that just disgusts me thinking about that possession. Completely unacceptable. I mean, this could go one of two ways. That yesterday's the ultimate wake-up call, or the season's going to spiral. They have to win, man. They have to win. I mean, next 3 games, Vikings, Bills, Steelers, there's your season. Got to win games. Have to. Unacceptable. Rex Ryan's in the house. Hey, Rex, you want to coach the Jets again? The fact that we have 2 teams and can't afford a retractable roof for our stadium is insane to me. I mean, I said this years ago. I never understood it. If you have 2 NFL teams and that stadium cost, I think it was $4 billion, which is probably the worst $4 billion ever spent. $4 billion to create the world's largest air conditioning unit. It never made any sense. Because then you could do events there year-round if you had a retractable roof. You could do concerts there year-round. You could do conventions there year-round. It never made any sense. Justin, thank you for the super chat. Hey, we're presented today by Custom Bourbon Tours. Folks, if you're looking for something fun to do, Custom Bourbon Tours is the place for you. Let me tell you all about Custom Bourbon Tours, right? They have, there's so, let me word it like this. There's 40 distilleries on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. And this company, Custom Bourbon Tours, which is owned by Liam, who's a diehard Jet fan who's from New York who now lives in Lexington, he's going to help you book a tour in under 4 minutes online. You go to their website, custombourbontours.com, and you'll see you have a bunch of options here. You can choose your preferred vehicle from SUVs to party buses. All the vehicles have high and leather seating, no bench seats whatsoever. Bench seats are for Zach Wilson. Choose a tour package that includes bourbon tours, cigar bars, horse racing, an SEC football game. It's all at custombourbontours.com, your concierge for an awesome weekend. Once again, I got a promo code for you guys as well. Use promo code Asman if you sign up at custombourbontours.com. You'll save 10% off your transportation. So check it out. All the info's in the description, but shout out to Liam and his team at Custom Bourbon Tours for being part of the show. Captain Swanson writes in, Jake, how are we supposed to beat the Vikings and that 4 power that they sport? This is an issue we should think we should win. We shouldn't win, okay? No, they should win. How should they beat the Vikings? How did Denver beat the Jets yesterday? It's the NFL, man. Any given Sunday. The game's also on a neutral field. It's not in Minnesota, which is huge. And the Vikings nearly choked away a 28-0 lead late yesterday. Look at the numbers Jordan Love put up. I expect Aaron Rodgers, if they give him some time, to have a big game passing. I expect Garrett Wilson to play well. I expect Mike Williams. Can they use him even more, please? Mike Williams needs the ball more. So, no, I expect the Jets to win. They're 2.5-point underdog. Like, that. This is not a game that is impossible for the Jets to win. All right, it is a week-to-week league. The Bills were the greatest team since sliced bread. They got destroyed last night. Right? I mean, we just watched Denver destroy Tampa, and then Tampa just destroyed the Eagles yesterday. It is a week-to-week league. I don't want to hear it. The Jets can absolutely beat the Vikings on Sunday. I know we're all down in the dumps right now, but the mentality is not to go out there and lose. And when you have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, yesterday was disgraceful. But I'm not going to sit here and give up on the season at 2-2. We're 2-2. The playoffs ended. If the season ended today, the Jets would be a playoff team right now. The rest of the AFC is not great. So, how do they deal with the Vikings? I mean, I don't know. Jets defense has played great the last 3 games. To step up in class now as far as the talent you're facing. Quarterback's playing really well for them. They have, obviously, the best receiver in the game. Then, I don't know. How about this for a concept? We use Sauce Gardner, how Denver used Patrick Surtain. Like, show us something. This coaching staff needs to wake up and show us something this week. Otherwise, they're all gone, and they deserve to be gone because they don't deserve the benefit of the doubt. JJ. Unfortunately, JJ was right about Salah. He stinks. Ha, 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 JJ. Congrats. It was a disgrace yesterday. Captain Swanson. What an oxymoron. Jets should win. We're 2.5-point underdogs. Yeah, they should win. 2.5 means that if the Jets were home, they'd be a slight favorite. Because you get 3 points for being the home team, and this is a neutral site game. Wake up. I mean, it is unacceptable how yesterday went down. And now they have to respond. Have to. Otherwise, you know what? Then they're all going to be out of a job. JJ writes in, I got yelled at, mocked at, called doom and gloom fan for pointing out after extended periods of rest we were terrible under Salah. He stinks. Stop defending him going forward. Undisciplined, unprepared. JJ, you were right about your concerns. My point to you was simply, hey, I think Aaron Rodgers nullifies a lot of that. Clearly, I was wrong. It is a problem. But they're not going to fire the head coach at 2-2. So I'm not going to defend Robert Saleh. If you've watched the last two shows I've done, whether it be the post-game show last night or just now with Joe B, I have killed this head coach, killed this coaching staff. It's unacceptable how they played. But I'm also like, I also can't sit here and say, fire the guy, because it's not going to happen. I don't like saying fire the coach because it's a waste of everyone's time. They're not firing him 4 games into the season. They're not. I do agree with Benigno. If they're 2-5, then yeah, Robert Saleh watch is probably on. He could lose his job after that Steelers game if they lose that one. That'd be the time to make the change, right? Because after the Steelers game, you play New England. So it's a softer landing spot for an intern coach to galvanize the troops. I think it would be Ulbrich in that scenario. But I don't think they're going to lose their next 3. As bad as they played yesterday, we've seen this too many times in the NFL with the wackiness of some of these upsets so far. Captain Swanson, they have too much firepower and Flores. Jake, come on. Captain Swanson, if you think there's no chance for the Jets to win, I don't know what to tell you. We watched Denver just beat the Jets yesterday, and the previous week beat a Tampa team that then bounced back and destroyed the Eagles. It is a week-to-week league, man. Any given Sunday has never been more true so far this season than what we have seen. So if you think the Jets have no chance, don't watch the game. You can kiss my ass and find a new show because I really don't care. All right? Like, if the whole point of your super chats is just to complain that they have no chance when they're only a 2.5-point underdog, I don't know what to tell you. Jets for Life says, as a lifelong Jet fan, haven't we had enough embarrassment from family and friends and media? It's BS. When do we get the last laugh? It's supposed to be this year. This was supposed to be a great year. It still can be. But they're at a crossroads right now in their season. There's no doubt. Storyline, they didn't give it to Allen at the 1 because they're stat padding for Brees. It's not about winning at all. Zach beat them on the road. Crazy. I mean, year-to-year league, man. What Zach did last year when he didn't even play that great and Brees went off. It's amazing Brees played the way he did when he has owned this team the last 2 years. Owned them. He averaged 9 yards a carry against them the last 2 seasons. He had 4 yards yesterday. I mean, Aaron Rodgers had more rushing yards than Brees Hall. Justin says, been watching too long. There's culture issues. Starts with Woody. Coaching staff stinks. Play calling predictable. It's not Brees or Garrett Wilson. 13 penalties and terrible play calling. Fire them. They're not going to fire him. I appreciate the super chat and the passion. I think blaming Woody is lazy. We always blame Woody when the team loses. It's like we all felt like this team had more than enough talent to win. Woody has wrote the checks. He stayed out of the way. He's let Douglas build this team. Douglas hired the coach. If they have the wrong people running the show, then Woody will make changes. But I don't blame Woody for the Jets being 2-2 right now. I think it's lazy. You know, you want your owner to write the checks and hire the right people. I think we all felt pretty good about this team coming into the year. We felt great about them 10 days ago when they were smashing New England and they were 2-1. They got to turn it around. They got to win. Otherwise, Woody will fire them. We'll be doing the song and dance all over again. It never ends. It never freaking ends. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. There's 1,236 of you watching live right now. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. If you want to become an Asmaniac, hit that join button, and you'll gain access to bonus shows. You'll get all the channel emojis. You also will get a priority response time in the comment section. Appreciate everyone for their incredible support. Reminder, we're doing a giveaway right now on social media. If you follow me on Twitter, at Jake Asman, at Jake Asman Show, on both Instagram and Twitter, your name is added to a list where you could win some free merch from the Jake Asman merch store. The link to my Twitter and Instagram is in the description for this video. If you can't find it, just type Jake Asman and Jake Asman Show, and it comes right up. All right, let's take some calls right now. People are pissed off. Rightfully so. Ladies and gentlemen, first up is Peter Castro. Hello, Peter.
How you doing, Jake? I tried to call you yesterday, but I couldn't get through. I was at the game. I tailgated with Neil. We had a
You
good
saw
time.
Neil take his shirt off?
No, I only was there for maybe a half hour. I was with my family, so we went in, and I sat in that hot soup. It was like sitting in a soup for 3 hours. Okay, I'm gonna tell you how it really is. First and goal at the 1 yard line. You give the ball to Braylon Allen 4 times if you have to. The game is over. Even my granddaughter said it. I mean, it's ridiculous. What's his name in the Surtain, the receiver in the end zone? Where's Sauce Gardner? Not traveling, not blitzing. Do you see what they did to Rodgers on 4th down when they blitzed, the safety blitz? They knocked him right on his ass. But we gave Bo Nix all day to throw the ball, all day. I mean, this coaching staff is unacceptable. I know that they're not going to fire any of them, probably not now anyway. But this coaching staff is horrible. They're unprepared. They had 9 days. 9 days. What they have? 13 penalties, 90 yards, stupid penalties, lining up both sides. They don't correct anything. And Salah sits there and talks about Aaron Rodgers' cadence after the game. He's out of it. Instead of having this team prepared, they're never prepared. They're never prepared. This is the same thing that happened 3 years ago, 4 years ago when they went to Seattle. The team was totally unprepared. This guy is not a head coach. He's got to go. He's terrible. You could have coached the victory yesterday. It was very easy. The first quarter of the game, first and goal in the 1. If they score, the game's over. The game's over at that point. All right? Horrible. Just horrible. There's no way to make excuses for them. They're just not prepared. They're not a good team. They're not prepared. And even Aaron Rodgers, as great as he is, can't overcome the stupidity of this coaching staff. They don't blitz. They don't travel. They refuse to do the things that they did against New England where they look great. They didn't do them yesterday for some reason. Explain that.
Yeah.
Why?
Look, I agree with you with the lack of blitzing. I think they should have blitzed Knicks a lot more. I'm with you there. But it's like at the end of the day, you know, this to me is like all squarely on Salah and Hackett for how they handled the offense, not having the team ready to play, the pre-snap penalties. Like the defense wasn't perfect, but at the end of the day, they allowed 10 points. You win that game. Like this to me was just squarely on the coach not having the offense ready to go and the offensive coordinator not having a pulse. Because you're right. Anyone could have seen, hey, we're at the goal line. Why don't we use our 245-pound rookie running back who never gets stopped without gaining positive yardage and is just a absolute bullet train, man. Like it's just simple coaching like that. Like any of us playing Madden could have figured, oh, short yardage, give the ball to Braylon Allen. We're going to score a touchdown. They win the game. They go up 2 scores. They win this game yesterday going away.
Where's Corley? Where is Corley? Where's Malik Corley? He's throwing a pass to Gibson at the height of the game where he should be throwing it to Mike Williams or Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson and him are not on the same page. I don't know what they're doing. But a couple of times, Garrett Wilson didn't even turn around on throws. But why would you throw a pass to Gibson in the height of the game when you need to get, a touchdown or a field goal? I mean, the play calling, horrible. Hackett stinks, and Salah is in a total. He's got a brain tumor or a coma or something. He's terrible. He's horrible. He doesn't make any corrections. I would have went over to Hackett and said, run the ball 4 times with Braylon Allen. I don't want to see any other plays. Just run the ball 4 times off tackle. I guarantee you we score. I mean, what is it? It's a total idiot. Just an idiot. I'm sick of it. I can't stand it anymore.
Yeah, it's unacceptable. I mean, another game like this and he's gonna go. You cannot lose this game. Like I have tried to be fair with Salah and be patient, but every concern people had about him, rightfully so, reared its ugly head yesterday, and it's unacceptable. I mean, like that yesterday was a game that gets you fired at the end of the day if another game like that happens. It can't. You cannot. This has to be their worst loss of the year, and they have to respond and be the team we all thought they were going to be coming in. Otherwise, everyone's going to go because like this, you cannot play that way at home and lose to that team. It is unacceptable. Even if you're the biggest Robert Salah apologist ever, it is unacceptable to lose that game. You can't have it.
No way. No way. I want to know where Malik Corley is. How come he's hidden somewhere on the bench? But Gibson can't go 5 yards on a return. He can't catch a ball. He stinks. But you can't give Corley a chance, a couple of touches. Let's see what he can do. And where is Braylon Allen? Something's wrong with Breece Hall. Put Braylon Allen in the game. What are you waiting for? He's supposed to be involved in the offense this year. He's involved in nothing. He stands there and does nothing, says nothing. The only thing he does good is cheerlead. He should have tried out for the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. He would have made the first string.
It's horrible. Peter. I love the passion, my man. You're right. You're right. I mean, it is unacceptable. Unacceptable. Like if it wasn't September, like that's a game. If that happened in December, like you'd be fired. You know what I mean? Like it'd be like if that cost you a playoff spot, like you'd be fired. And there's no one else to blame but the head coach at this point. And that was my big thing coming in. It's like the excuses are over. Like we all said it. I said it. I'm like I'm not. I've used the line a million times. Like I'm not saying Robert Salah is Vince Lombardi, but I think he deserves the year with this quarterback. I said that because you weren't going to fire him after last year. They still won 7 games, had a top 5 defense, top 5 special teams. They won 3 of their last 5. Like I wouldn't sit here saying I felt great about Salah, but I also was like, you know what? Let's see. The talent should be good enough for this guy to win with. You would hope the coaching staff maybe wouldn't be the reason why you're winning a lot of games, but wouldn't be the reason why you're losing. They lost because of coaching yesterday, and that can't happen. That can't happen. They lost because of coaching. The excuses are up. There's no one to blame. Zach Wilson's not here. Mike LaFleur is not here anymore. Like, this is it. If Aaron Rodgers can't fix it, it's a coaching problem. And Rodgers, I thought, gave them a chance yesterday, despite getting killed on every play. And Rodgers wasn't great yesterday. He talked about how he missed some throws here or there. But he was light years better than Bo Nix, and they still lost. That's coaching, man. That's coaching. Rodgers wasn't great yesterday. He was still better than anything we've had from a Jet quarterback since 2015 Fitz in that game yesterday. How do you think Zach Wilson would have done in those conditions? And you still lost. That's what's so disheartening. You still lost. You lost a game that they never should be able to lose again. Like 2023 Jet losses should not be happening in 2024 with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. That should not happen. A couple games this reminded you of yesterday. Patriot game also in the rain because the Jets apparently, that's what made the New England game so special. Forget the fact they won by, 20 points and they kicked their ass and all that. It didn't rain. It was beautiful weather. But then we were right back to slog at MetLife, waterlogged fans leaving pissed off. How many times has that happened in the last couple of years? It's just, it is unacceptable for them to lose. Unacceptable. JJ says, A-Rod calls the plays. He's the blame for the goal line. No, look, you want to blame him for the goal line? I mean, I don't know what to tell you. The first 2 plays are called in. They ran it with Breece. If that's Braylon Allen running it, I think they score a touchdown. It's a personnel thing. Rodgers is not in charge of the personnel. He does a million things to help nullify our concerns with the offensive coordinator. He can't, in the heat of the moment, be accountable for the 10 other guys on the field at all times. I don't think that's fair. He didn't play great yesterday. I'm not going to try and tell you Aaron Rodgers was great yesterday, but also the conditions were horrible, and he still made some incredible plays and gave them a chance. Even at the end, he still gave them a chance with Zerline, man. But, like, it felt like the Jets were comfortable just settling for a 50-yard kick. Like, oh, well, Zerline has this great leg. He's been awesome for us. Yeah, but this year he hasn't been awesome for you. And the conditions yesterday are horrible. And you just watched Will Lutz, who's a really good kicker for Denver, miss the same kick from the same distance. And it just felt like the Jets settled for a 50-yard field goal at the end there. Edward writes in, Jets tight end coach who won the Senior Bowl was the head coach when Salah was out with COVID. He should be the Are you talking? So Jeff Ulbrich was the head coach at the Senior Bowl. When Salah had COVID, these were 2 different coaches. Ron Middleton was the intern coach in that one game when Salah had COVID in 2021 when the Jets played the Jaguars. I was at that game. If they made an in-season change, and we're not at this point yet. I think as Joe said, I agree with him. I think they need to be 2-5 if they would fire Robert Salah in season. which, as bad as they played yesterday, I don't see happening. I think it would be over. It could be the interim. I do. But I don't think we're there yet. Could Middleton maybe be the interim, and then they would just let kind of Obrick be the head coach of the defense, Hackett and Rodgers do the thing with the – like, yeah, that's a possibility too. I don't know if we're there yet, though. Grand Pugnuggy, Jets 2-2, 4 games in. I think Salah knows it's time to focus up. He needs to listen to Rodgers if he wants the team to perform at an elite level. Yeah, I mean, they need to come out, pass protect, learn how to pick up a goddamn blitz, and their best players need to play like their best players. Allen Lazard can't be outperforming Garrett Wilson for that much longer. Garrett Wilson needs to go off this week. All right, the Vikings do not have Patrick Surtain shadowing him. I need a big Garrett game. It is time. It is time for everything we felt about Garrett Wilson, everything I watched. I watched it in person this summer, man. Garrett Wilson was uncoverable in practice this summer. And I was at the joint practice against the Commanders in the rain, by the way, like what yesterday was, when it wasn't even Aaron throwing into him. It was Tyrod. And Garrett Wilson was unguardable. I watched it. We saw last year what Garrett can do. We saw it 2 years ago, what he could do. Like, this guy's too good to not be playing like the Garrett Wilson we expect. He's too good. He's had 1,000-yard receiving seasons in back-to-back years with shit thrown to him. He has Aaron Rodgers now throwing to him. They got to get on the same page. This has got to be the week he breaks out. Talent-wise, the Jets have more talent than the Vikings. The Vikings, until proven otherwise, have a significant coaching advantage. Prove us wrong. Go win the game. Mike D's Nuts says, hate to say it, but JJ was right on Salah. Yeah, until proven otherwise, Robert Salah right now is an excellent defensive coordinator who's not good enough to be this team's head coach unless they start winning. Until proven otherwise, that's where they're at. Because yesterday was I cannot emphasize this enough. You cannot lose this game yesterday. It is inexcusable to lose this game to that team when you're home and you had 9 days to get ready. Unacceptable. John with a super chat. In my eyes, this is 100% on the coaching staff. Douglas did everything possible and brought in talent to win. I get it. Douglas also hired this head coach, though. So he's now on quarterback number 2, and he gets a second head coach, and this team he's been here 6 years, and they haven't made the playoffs yet. I don't know about that. Maybe if they're 10-7, losing the wild card round, then he gets to pick another coach. Maybe. See what that looks like. Maybe. I don't know about that, though. I don't want to think about, any of that. I win this week. It's a week-to-week league. All right, the Bucks could not have the Broncos could not have looked worse in their first 2 games. Then they beat Tampa. They now beat the Jets. The Bengals were 0-3. Like they lost some horrific games. Like, it is a long season. Thankfully, the Bills lost. You're a game out of first place. Figure it out, man. You're 2-2. Right now, if the season were to end today, would be the 5th seed in the playoffs. So as bad as the Jets have been, it is all right in front of them. Prove us wrong. Figure it out. Comments, questions, super chats. Time for more of your calls. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up.
Oh, take it all! Take it all! Let's go!
Jake, get that goddamn thing off. I don't want to see it anymore.
Do you have
Number
pneumonia?
one. First off, you got to realize something. Let me tell you the short story, okay? My son was over. I had my daughter's birthday party. The whole family was there. And Michael played the video of me humping that thing that you played 5 freaking times.
I think that guy I know, right?
That, okay? My wife said to me, you embarrass me. You are done with me. And she had a huge fight with me. And she said she wanted a divorce. Then I took her out that night. And I promised her I would never embarrass her again. And there I go on top of that stupid pickup truck with my shirt off with some young kid doing a jet chat. I thought that one would not go viral, but my stupid-ass brother put it on Instagram. I don't know where you got it from.
I got Neil, when I tell you I got tagged in that video by like 50 different Asmaniacs who recognized you right away.
How could that happen? I was at an E18. Nobody knows me at that tailgate.
You're a big deal, Neil. You're a big deal, man.
Oh,
The
damn it.
fan base knows who you are.
Oh, that's embarrassing as hell. But anyway, look, don't play that anymore, please. But anyway, the long and short of it is this. I am taking a complete different tact than everybody else here. I know everybody's pissed off. And let me tell you something. After that game, I had to drop my son off in Manhattan, drop my son Steve off in Manhasset, and drive all the way out east where you were at your wedding. I got home at 7:30 and my doors were locked in my house. I was soaking wet head to toe because my wife wouldn't let me in the house. So please take it easy. All right. I know you want to have fun. I know you got your smiley face on, but please take it easy on me. I had a rough day yesterday. But considering all that, okay, we are going to win the next 3 games. I have no doubt in my mind. I will bet my reputation. If we don't win the next 3, JJ, Allen, all you freaking negative assholes could call me whatever you want. But I'm telling you, I'm taking receipts right now. We are going to win the next 3 games. We're going to straighten it out. All right. I get it. What happened is it's very simple. Everybody wants to blame Salah. We had the extra 2 days off. You know what happened? Everybody, all the great players, they're smelling their own shit. You understand? They got ahead of it. They all got a little excited. They all smelt their own stuff, and that's what happened. They came out unprepared, and this is what happens when you smell and you don't play your 100% game. We are a better roster than the Vikings. We're better than Buffalo. We have Buffalo's number. I don't even know if Josh Allen's going to make it to the Jet game Monday night because he got his butt kicked yesterday. And if he continues to run the ball, he is going to be on the sideline with Tua eventually. Okay. That you could count on. All right. And Pittsburgh.
Neil, here's the problem though. Aaron Rodgers is going to be hurt too. They got to protect him.
No. Look. I get it. Aaron Rodgers is not going to get hurt. They're going to straighten it out.
He already is hurt.
I get it, but they're going to be fine. They're winning the next 3 games. This game against the Vikings, first of all, I put up NFL odds. I don't know what you're looking at. NFL odds says the Jets are 1.5-point favorites. I just put it up before I got on the chat. I don't know what you're looking at. NFL odds, Vegas odds has them up 1.5 as favorite, not underdog. But I don't even care about that.
Neil,
what?
How do you think they're going to win the next 3? I don't understand.
Because I just told you they're going to straighten it all. Listen,
yeah, but if your issue is they were smelling their own, you know what, because they were feeling so good after the New England game. If they beat the Vikings, right? They're not going to be smelling their you know what again?
No, they're not, because the bottom line is this. The message is going to be this week with Rodgers and Salah is going to be, we got to stop see, Rodgers has to instill in these guys the winning attitude and the winning what it takes to win. And these guys are too young to understand what it takes to win. They dance around when they get a good play. They do this. They play the rap music. Look, the bottom line is this. This is what they needed to give. I understand that San Francisco's a different story. They discounted that because they had a great team. It was the first week, blah, 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 blah. They needed this as a wake-up call. That's what I'm hoping for, okay? Again, I could be dead wrong. I'm not saying I'm going to be absolutely right, but the wake-up call is now. This week, the message has got to be very simple. You guys are not what you think you are. Everybody has to put 100% effort in. We have to pay attention to details. No more false starts, no more penalties. If you guys continue to get penalties, what am I doing here? If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm having a heart-to-heart with the team. And I'm saying, look, it's got to change. The culture's got to change. This is what I mean.
They didn't lose because of rap music. They
lost because they weren't ready to play, Jake, period. And that comes from the players.
No, that comes from the coach. That's on the head coach.
I get it. The message.
The penalties. most penalties in the NFL the last 2 seasons, third most since 2022. That's on the coach. That's the head coach. They had 15 penalties yesterday, 13 that were accepted. That's coaching. So I can't sit here and feel confident they're going to win the next 3 when they put that performance out yesterday. I think they could beat the Vikings, but I mean, I'd sign for 2-1 right now.
I think it's better we lost that game than made the kick yesterday and went into the Viking game. Knowing the Jets the way we know them, if they win that game yesterday with a kick, they still think they're good. They have to play with adversity. We will never win the Super Bowl without adversity. That's the way it is with us for 58 years. The Mets, what did Joe B say today? Oh, we're going to lose the doubleheader in Met style. No, I'm a Met fan too, unfortunately. But the reality is this. Great things are going to happen with us through a lot of adversity. And we have the guy that is going to guide us through the adversity. And the guy is not Robert Salah. It's not going to be an interim head coach. It's not going to be Rex Ryan. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers. They believe in Aaron Rodgers and if the team could, because I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm Aaron Rodgers and I know what he's thinking, look, this guy Brees has got to wake up. Garrett, what the hell are you doing? You're not looking at a ball for me. You know I'm under pressure. You know they're blitzing. Look up for the ball. Gibson, I'll never throw you another pass again. Why are you running downfield when I'm throwing you a back shoulder pass when we don't need a touchdown, we need a big play? That's stupid little stuff that they're going to correct, and the guys that want to win this game are going to let it win. Now, one last thing I want to mention. When you're at the 1-yard line with a guy like Braylon Allen, right? All you have to do, take Solomon Thomas, put him behind Braylon Allen, put Aaron Rodgers out of the play, do a direct snap to Braylon Allen, and do a tush push. If you do a tush push from the 1-yard line with a lineman pushing Braylon Allen forward, and all you need is a half a yard, it's impossible to stop 3 times in a row. Look what the Eagles do for the last 3 seasons with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts doesn't have the power Braylon Allen has. Just do the goddamn tush push and walk off the field. It's simple. They're making it complicated. Don't you like that play?
Look, without question, Braylon Allen needs to be used in short yardage and at the goal line. Without question. But like, this is coaching, and this is the problem.
Right.
Like, Robert Salah is supposed to be more involved in the offense.
Play calling. Get the play calling right.
Who's the play caller? And attack it. And if Robert Salah is more involved with the offense, then you know what he should be saying to Nathaniel Hackett? Whatever it's called, I don't know the verbiage of what it is in the playbook. He doesn't need to even necessarily know that. But he needs to go to Nathaniel Hackett and say, hey, Brees doesn't need to be out there right now. We're going to Braylon Allen. It's his day. Brees is having a bad game. Brees, I thought, probably played the worst game of his career yesterday. It was that bad.
And he will be motivated when Brees Allen runs the ball and continues to have success. He will be motivated. I agree 1,000% with Peter. You got to get Corley in for a 5-play package. And Gibson, I was watching Gibson in the pregame, right? They were throwing him passes, and they were going through his hands. We are lucky that he didn't fumble a punt because he cannot, obviously, his hands must be small or something. He cannot catch a wet ball. So they better be more prepared than they were moving forward. I trust they will. We're going to get a big win in the Vikings. Get yourself ready for London. Wipe this goddamn loss under the carpet. Get yourself pumped up because you're going to London for a victory. And then when we come back Monday night, we'll run it back out. We're going to kick the shit out of Buffalo Monday night. And Pittsburgh, please. Pittsburgh. Come on. They stink. I don't care about Pittsburgh. Who's the game after Pittsburgh?
New England.
At New England. Beautiful. We're going to have a nice 4-game winning streak. Relax. Everybody relax. We have Aaron Rodgers. Listen to my voice. It's gone.
Oh, take it all. Take it
incredible. I like how Neil's like, I can't believe people saw that video. Like, no one knows me at E18. Neil, it's the internet, man. Internet lasts forever. This YouTube channel has 38,000 plus subscribers of diehard Jet fans, man. People are going to recognize you. Especially after this publicity stunt.
I think that guy I know, right?
It's not even a stunt. That's just Neil. He didn't even know he's being filmed there, which is great. I'm in so much pain this morning. I needed that laugh. Oh, my God. Mike D's nuts in the house. We went to the game and left disgusted. Yeah, it sucked. Let's go to Black Gypsy. He's next on our show. What's up, Black Gypsy?
Yay. So that game yesterday was wow.
Horrific.
Just wow. The only thing that I saw that was good, the defense looks better. Now, as for next week, like that's a tough, tall order. Not because Minnesota is so much better than us, but they are coached a lot better than us right now. Now,
O'Connell and Flores versus Salah and Hackett is a total mismatch.
It's a mismatch. And yesterday, what I watched was out coaching. They were out coached on every single level of the game yesterday. I don't trust Salah, and I don't trust Hackett. Like, I don't see us being what Hackett did yesterday. He stopped calling tight end plays and started throwing the ball in the backfield. When you had Conklin there, like, why isn't Conklin a part of the game? That's the quarterback's like easy way out when your tight end is in the game. You're in trouble, tight end route. Like most of the plays on 3rd and 1 or on 2nd and 1, they threw the ball in the backfield, bro. Like, just go forward. Just go forward. I don't care if you got stuffed on the going forward. But why throw the ball in the backfield when you haven't been running screens the whole game? Like, I am worried for the next 2 games. I think we could beat Buffalo. But right now, as we're being coached and Aaron Rodgers grabbing his hamstring, he's hurt. Whether we want to admit it or not, that man got hurt yesterday. He winced, and at the end of the game, every football player does this when they're hurt. They pull their fucking towel over their head so you don't see them fucking crying. He was in pain yesterday at the end of that game. When he went in for the last route, he was holding his hamstring like, oh my God. Now we have to go play 3 of our hardest teams that we're going to see, like in the first half of the season, with Aaron Rodgers hobbled so he can't move against a Flores defense that blitzes the second most in the NFL. Like, I want Hackett gone, bro. I don't care. At this point, I don't care who it is. Hackett just can't do it. Hackett, like I saw them laugh at him on the sideline yesterday while they were doing plays. Like they focused on him, and there's a laughter section on the Denver where they're laughing at him from the plays that he does.
I don't know about that. I don't think Rodgers was crying yesterday. I think he was just disgusted. He was pissed. He knows that this was a game. Like it was the first time Aaron Rodgers lost a game where he didn't throw a touchdown pass at home and he finished the game. Like this was a historic loss for his standards. I think Rodgers has only lost 2 games in his entire career.
After a bye week.
Well, no, not after a bye week. He's only lost 2 games in his entire career where the opponent scored 10 or less points. Like you hold a team to 10 points. Aaron Rodgers has very rarely in 20 years ever lost that game. Like this was an embarrassing performance. He was just disgusted and frustrated they didn't win the game. Like he knows they should have won this game by multiple scores. They didn't pass protect. Him and Garrett not being on the same page on the second to last drive was a backbreaker. Like it awful. This has to be rock bottom as far as like
I hope so.
And now, I mean, it could go one of 2 ways, right? They were 2-1 flying high 10 days ago. Now they lost a disgusting game. You know, go beat the Vikings. The Vikings are a good team. They're not a team that the Jets can't win. This is not a crazy thing to ask for the Jets on a neutral field.
I don't say we can't win. Let me ask you a question. What do you think we need to do next week to win against Minnesota? Because for this week, there was no plan that was in place to beat Denver. They just came out and played like trash. Like there was no plan to be like, hey, we're going to run the ball. We're going to run screens. We're going to do this. They just played like trash from the beginning of the game, and they never got their momentum. Now, how are we going to beat Minnesota? What are the things we have to do to beat Minnesota? Because, like, tight end screen. Like, what are we doing to, like, we don't have a personality as a team. We don't have a thing that we do that people can't stop. Like, we just go out and hope Aaron Rodgers can solve all the problems of the offensive line that's not doing what it's supposed to, and Hackett calling bad plays. Because Aaron Rodgers changes every play at the line, it seems.
Well, he's given 2 plays in the huddle, and then it's on him to make the audibles and change things. That's how he likes it. Right? It looked great against New England. You know, I mean, what do they need to do to beat the Vikings? Score more points than them. You want the real answer? No, I mean, you know what they need to do until they find some other things that work? Run the ball with Braylon Allen and dare Minnesota to stop it. And can we get Mike Williams involved? Can we get him going? All right, I just saw this stat from Zach Rosenblatt, who covers the team for The Athletic here, a great Mike Williams stat. I'm trying to find it. I just lost it. But Mike Williams has been one of the most efficient wide receivers in the NFL so far with limited snaps. Let's go. Get him going. Mike Williams is second among all wide receiver in terms of EPA per target. Garrett Wilson ranks 71st. Minimum of 50 routes run. I mean, show up. You had players yesterday. I think Rodgers saying he's like, I don't know. Our focus wasn't as good as it was the first 3 games. That's a direct reflection of coaching. I never want to hear that the coaching doesn't have this team focused and ready to go. Inexcusable. Go win on Sunday. And how about this for an idea? How about you get Corley involved? This guy was essentially a late second-round pick. He was the first pick of the 3rd round. They were trying to trade up in the middle of the 2nd round to get him. How about we use that guy over Xavier Gibson on kickoff returns? How about we use Malachi Corley out there as a weapon? By the way, remember I took calls this week from people in Super Chats, oh, this team doesn't need Devontae Adams. You still think that? No, they need another weapon. Garrett Wilson's very good. Till proven otherwise, though, he's not great. And we thought he would take that step to greatness this year with Rodgers throwing to him. It hasn't happened yet. They need another weapon. And they obviously, I still think, despite the defense overall playing well, they still need another player on that defensive line. Yesterday, they were double-teaming Quinnen Williams every play. Will McDonald's getting chipped. And then they have no one else who can win a one-on-one on the outside. It was supposed to be Jermaine Johnson. He got hurt. It's inexcusable how they played yesterday. Kyle Clifton Super Chat says, you're not as good / bad as your last game, but Neil's nuts for thinking 4-game win streak. Fix the effing penalties and give the team a chance to compete. I mean, if you beat yourself in this league, you could lose to anyone, as we saw. Felix with a Super Chat. This is on the OC and the head coach. Hall looks confused out there. He isn't running with confidence. If you look at how Allen runs, it's night and day. It's almost like Allen is playing the way he is because he just doesn't know any better. He's always been the biggest athlete, I'm sure, his entire life. Right? So his natural instinct is, I'm bigger than you. It's worked in high school for me. It worked in college. I just run through people. And it's like a very simplistic but effective approach. I do agree with you, Felix. It's almost like Hall is unsure where he's supposed to go. Like, he's not being patient enough. He's just quickly going, and he's not playing with the confidence that you would think a guy in his 3rd year would be playing with. He does kind of feel like he's unsure of where to go. But, I didn't think Brees was that bad the first couple games. Like, I didn't think the blocking was great. Yesterday, I thought he was bad. Right? Like, week 1, he had the fumble. Fred Warner made that great play. The Jets barely had the ball that night. Like, it's week 1, whatever. Tennessee, he was a lot better. He obviously had a huge touchdown catch. He scored a touchdown against New England. Like, Brees to me wasn't a problem until yesterday. Like, he wasn't Brees that we were expecting necessarily, where I legitimately thought we'd be talking about him like he's the best running back in the league. That's still probably, with McCaffrey, that's still probably Derrick Henry right now, to be fair. But, I mean, I have been very disappointed that we haven't seen that year 2 explosiveness from him or Garrett yet. And Garrett, you can almost understand a little bit with some of the corners he's played. That's out the window now against Minnesota. Let's go. All right? If Garrett Wilson's who we think he is, right? This is the guy you're going to pay $30 million a year, because that's now the going rate for the number 1 receivers as we go here. Like Waddle, I think, is making 27 or 28, something like that. And he's like a number 2 to Tyreek Hill on that team. Right, then, let's go, man. Like the Jets with Rodgers, as good as he still is, they can't overcome their superstars not playing like elite players. And they can't overcome Tyron Smith playing as bad as he did yesterday. Simpson, AVT, like they were not good. They couldn't cover stunts. And by the way, you know what really bothered me about Brees besides the lack of rushing yards? Obviously, the 2 false starts penalties is egregious, completely unacceptable. For a running back to false start twice is an abomination. But he was bad in pass protection too, man. There was one play where Rodgers clearly gestured to him to go and pick up the guy on the outside, sensing there would be an overload of pressure on either, I forget it was the left or the right. Normally I rewatch every game. I don't want to rewatch this game. I can't do it. I can't stomach it. I won't. But there was a clear play where Rodgers basically told him, like, hey, go pick up this guy. Like, you know what you're supposed to do. And Brees didn't do it. He was late to it, and Rodgers got killed. And, like, that's what he was alluding to after the game when he said there was some simple pass stuff we didn't pick up. Like, it kills drives. That and the penalties is why they lost, even with Rodgers. You can't lose 10-9 to Bo Nix at home when you have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. That's all coaching. You can't lose that game, man. I'm so angry, man. I am so angry that my week is already ruined. Like, if they lose to the Vikings, I'm going to be in a bad state, man. A bad state. Going across the pond to see it. Oh. Marvin. Salah had Allen at the goal line. Corley needs to be in over Gibson. Garrett Wilson needs a breakout game. Agreed with all. Vincent, Hackett should return that game ball Salah gave him last year. Yeah. Banks. Brees Hall style don't fit with the new scheme. BA a better fit. I don't buy that, man. You can't be as good as Brees has been through 2 years, and all of a sudden his style doesn't fit. He's a superstar running back. At least we thought. All of a sudden he can't play anymore. Like, maybe these guys were too full of themselves and reading the press clippings and the hype around them, as Joe B said. Maybe this is a humbling. How about we try and spin it positive here before the season goes to shit? How about this is a humbling experience and these guys, they accept the challenge and they're ready to go, right? How about that? I mean, I'll give you guys a positive stat here before we get back to your calls. All right, here's some Jet positivity if you want it. I know it's tough, but I don't want to only be negative. They're 2-2. It's not like they're 0-4. So this is from New York Jets history. Who, if you're not following at New York Jets history on Twitter, you're missing out. This guy does an amazing job, always tweeting out great Jet memories over the years. When they play an opponent that week, he'll post some of the best moments in the history of the Jets against that team. But anyway, this was the tweet. Last year's playoff teams, right? These are the bad losses last year's playoff teams all had. Buffalo lost to New England last year. Miami lost to Tennessee. Remember they blew that game on Monday night? Now they play again tonight on Monday night. Go Titans. Cleveland lost to Denver. Pittsburgh lost to Arizona and New England. Houston lost to Bryce Young and Carolina, and they lost to the Titans. Kansas City lost to Denver and Las Vegas. Dallas lost to Josh Dobbs and the Cardinals. Philly lost to Arizona. Detroit lost to the Bears. Green Bay lost to Denver and the Giants. Right? Remember that, Tommy DeVito Monday night game? Tampa Bay lost to Atlanta. San Fran lost to Minnesota. Only Baltimore and the Rams didn't have bad losses. It happens every year. It happened to the Jets back in their good years. Super Bowl season, they lost to the 1-win Buffalo Bills. 98, they lost to the 3-13 Colts that year. Yesterday's loss was awful, but it's still week 4. Let's see what this team is made of. Can they go out there and beat a good Minnesota team and get back on track, or will this be a roller coaster season? So that's his tweet. Like the Ravens, who looked like world beaters last night, 2 weeks ago, blew a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter to the Raiders, who aren't any good. Just lost to the Browns. Actually, they beat the Browns, which kind of furthers my point on how week to week this league is right now. So as bad as yesterday is, there's no reason why, if they pass protect like the way they did for the first 3 games, Rodgers can't go out there and have a big game. This defense plays well. They force some turnovers on Darnold and they win. Right? Sam Darnold threw a pick yesterday. He had a fumble that was lost yesterday. He's still going to give you some turnovers. Yeah, they were up 28-0, and Green Bay nearly came back. Look at the numbers Jordan Love put up yesterday. You mean to tell me if Aaron Rodgers has some time, he can't have a big game? So as bad as yesterday is, like this is the moment now. It's either going to define them or they're going to learn from it. Cactus Johnny says, excuses are for losers. Head coach blaming the rain. Rodgers cadence, all you need to know. Head coach can't hold players accountable when he's not himself. I think the accountability stuff is factual. And I liked Rodgers' answer on it. That should be the approach. I'm going to scrap and Salah already walked back the cadence stuff because it's silly. He's like, I was talking about the operation. How about a Breece Hall false starts? You pull him from the game. Send a message, seriously. Oh, we got to coddle these guys. Why? Why do we got to be so soft with everyone now? Last I checked, I heard Buffalo Jet fan talk about this on his stream last night. He's right. Like, the direct deposit still clears. Breece Hall's still getting paid whether he got benched after a false start penalty or not, you know? The check still clears. Guys got to be held accountable. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable to have 15 penalties, 13 accepted. They led the NFL in penalties last year. Since 2022, the Jets are third in the NFL in total penalties. This is a reflection of coaching. And I thought some of the stuff would be cleaned up with Rodgers because he would get the guys in the right spot, but clearly, at least to this point, that is not the case. You know, I overestimated the Rodgers impact to nullify our concerns with the coach. It has to get better now or never. Or Salah's not going to be here next year. They won't. He won't be. Mike writes, and always knew Salah was a problem, not a Joe D like everyone else was saying in the offseason. I mean, Mike, both guys are the problem, right? Who hired Robert Salah? Who failed to get this team a legitimate backup quarterback last year? Like, there's just too many. I think until proven otherwise, the GM has been here now for 5 full years. He's in his 6th year overall. The coach is in year 4. They both got to win, otherwise they shouldn't be here. More of your calls right now. Let's say hello to Mike D's Nuts, who sat in that slog yesterday and watched the debacle in person. Hello, Mike.
What's going on, Jake? How you doing, buddy?
You know, I've been better, my man. I've been better, as I'm sure you have too.
Dude, listen, we got up yesterday at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Had to go to our little party bus and drive down. We hit the stadium at about 9:30, and the weather was absolutely terrible. And that was almost like kind of an omen. I'm like, this doesn't feel good. The first thing that got me messed up was I watched the NFL game preview, and 11 out of 12 people picked us to win. I said, that's not good. When all the people pick us to win, shit never goes right. But I agree on all your points, man. I mean, coaching is bad, man. I mean, everything came out, you know. There's only so much Aaron Rodgers can hide.
I completely agree. I mean, when you lose 10-9 to a quarterback who's making his 4th career start in a monsoon and had 60 total passing yards.
Yeah.
I mean, Bo Nix yesterday became the first quarterback in the Super Bowl era to win a game averaging less than 2.5 yards per attempt with a minimum of 25 attempts. He was 12 of 25 for 60 yards. To lose that game is deplorable.
The defense, for the most part, they give up some runs, but they did their job. 10 points. You know, I usually, if I go to a game, I come home and the next day or that night I'll watch the highlights, because watching the game in person and watching a game at home is completely different. I couldn't get through it. I couldn't. I got halfway through. I was like, this is disgusting. I couldn't even watch it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just this was one of the worst losses given the circumstances in this like playoff drought era. I think honestly, you could argue it might be the worst loss of the Robert Salah era, because like some of these other games, it's like you had a legitimate excuse to blame the shit quarterback play, regardless of whether it's Wilson or Boyle, whoever. This was a game that we have seen from those guys, yet it was Rodgers at quarterback, who still made some spectacular plays and actually gave the Jets a chance, despite the fact he was running for his life most of the game, and they kept killing themselves with the penalties.
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, you hold a team to 10 points and you only can muster up 3 field goals. Like, come on.
It's unacceptable.
You know? And Breece is – I've been so high on Breece. Like, I love Breece, but we got to get Braylon Allen in more, get him some, you know, goal scoring runs and utilize him more. It's just like – they have all these weapons and don't know what to do with it. You know, it's like, it's demoralizing, you know, and here's some of your other callers, and I agree with them. I don't get Neil's whole points. He brings up rap music, and the week before he references Kunta Kinte, which I don't even know what the hell he's going with that. So, I mean, we just got to play better.
It's just... Mike, I'm sorry you had to sit there, man. That's brutal.
Dude, we were trying to go around and we're buying ponchos that were overpriced at like $10-15 a pop. You know, it was so terrible. You know, we're trying to walk around on the tailgates and we're drenched in rain, and it was just miserable. The only good part is that where we sat at, we were sitting under the third level and didn't get rained on during the game. But other than that, it was shit.
Yeah, it's just
good to the game, man. I'm jealous. I would have rather stayed home and watched the game on my couch and watched this mess. I could at least turned it off.
Yeah, look, I was at the Giant game last year, and the only difference between this game and the Giant game was the Jets actually hit the kick and stole it. That was it. You know, that was it. This was the same game. If they had won, it'd be great to win and be 3-1, but they didn't deserve the win. They were horrific.
Yeah, if they would have won, you still have a lot of concerns of the way that they won. You know, we're not supposed to see these games anymore. You know, last year it was it's Zach Wilson. You know, now you got Aaron Rodgers back there, and we see this reminded me of the New England game.
Yep.
New
England, the Falcon game. I mean, just the Raider game. Just
it's the same slop over and over. It's like, when does this change? You know, I agree with Joe. I mean, give me Rex.
They win this game with Rex as the coach. There's no doubt. Rex would have sauce on Cortland Sutton. Rex would use Braylon Allen, ground and pound. They would they don't lose. They don't. Better coaching, they win this game. There's just no other way around it.
I saw that touchdown. I said, why the hell is he wide open in the back of the end zone? Why? You know, it's like it's a total breakdown in coverage, or somebody didn't know their assignment. But you're right. Sauce should be on him the whole time. Revis it wasn't letting that up.
Nope. And they don't use Sauce the way they need to use them. And that better change this week. We better see Sauce Gardner on Justin Jefferson for most of this game on Sunday.
I'm scared. I'm scared of Sunday.
Every third down, Justin Jefferson should be covered by Sauce Gardner. Every third down, Sauce should be shadowing Justin Jefferson, and you live with whatever result happens.
The next 3 games, I'm terrified. I mean, I'm a realistic Jets fan, but those are 3 tough games. 3 really tough games against good opponents that, honestly, are playing way better than we are right now.
Yep. Mike, all the love, my man.
These nuts.
The great Mike D's nuts, everybody. Jay Graves became a channel member. First one, nearly 2 hours in. Thank you, Jay Graves. Appreciate the support, even if we're all hurting today. Mike says, always knew Salah was the problem. I already read that one. King does. I don't care. 4 downs to the goal line. Play calling was insane. Heavy set 3 times with all that talent. It's like Hack was saying, yeah, I'm really bad. I mean, what's crazy is if he just used Braylon Allen instead of Brees, I think they score a touchdown. Like, I had no issue with running the ball the first 2 times. You just had the wrong guy out there. As great as Brees has been, he hasn't been great in short yardage this year. Braylon Allen's a freight train, man. He's 245 pounds of sheer mass. No one wants to tackle him. Find me a play this year where Braylon Allen didn't at least get positive yardage. There were some plays where he had to basically break a couple tackles just to get back to the line of scrimmage and dive forward for a yard. Like, you really think if they gave the ball 3 straight times to Braylon Allen, he's not going to be able to get a yard? Seriously, 3 straight times to Braylon Allen, he's not going to find a way to cross the pylon, cross the goal line? I don't believe it. Let's say hi to our King. King Lowski's in the house. What's up, King?
Jake, my brother. It's always good to see you, my brother. This damn team here, man. This damn team here. With the damn undisciplined football this team plays. This coaching staff is a direct reflection of mediocrity, man. Okay? Let me say this, man. This coaching staff needs to realize you do not have the same personnel. You do not have that damn child on your roster. Okay? I don't know what it was. Maybe because the child was in the building that this damn coaching staff reverted back to the same bullshit that they was doing last year. Okay, now, Jake, I don't call into your show post game because whether we lose or win, I don't want your channel to get demonetized. But this team, it really irks me, man. It really freaking irks me, dog, to see this coaching staff do the same undisciplined football we've been playing for the last 3 damn years. Okay? Y'all have to understand this team is not the same team you've been having the same damn 3 years. Okay? The same undisciplined freaking football. Okay? It's the same things. The offensive line, you revamped it. Why aren't we moving men against their will? Why can't we get a damn yard? I'm confused. We don't have no damn Thompson out there. Okay? We don't have no damn Max Mitchell out there. Okay? I'm confused. What the hell can't we get a damn yard for? Okay? This is the penalties, man. Salah, I don't know if you need to stop making them damn Colgate commercials. I don't know, son. Don't smile again this season. I don't want to see another damn smile. I don't give a damn if you brushed your teeth. You don't smile on that sideline. I know why Aaron Rodgers didn't want to hug your ass. Okay? I don't want to see nothing but disciplined freaking football. Okay? That's all I want to see. That's all I want to see. Okay? I can tell you why Braylon Allen is looking better. Because the man don't know no better. The same way Brees ran the past 2 years when he first got with us. Okay? He was running out of his mind because he knew all we had was him. All we had was Garrett Wilson. Okay? They need to realize that we don't have the same personnel. Okay? We have weapons that Aaron Rodgers is going to distribute to evenly. Okay? You are not the center of attention, son. Okay? This team needs to get it together, and it starts with the damn coaching. Okay? Now I'm pissed off because we shouldn't have lost to no damn Denver. But you know me, Jake. I'm on to the next game. We can't lose to the Vikings. We cannot lose that damn game. Okay? I'm talking too much, Jake. I love you, my brother. JTS! Justice! JTS! Justice!
Let's go, King. I love it, man. Love the Knicks shirt. Happy Media Day. All the Knicks fans out there. Just brutal. Brutal. You can't lose that game, man. We should be past losing that game. Should be past it. It's unacceptable. Bank says zone runs in 23 with Brees Hall, new power scheme with Braylon Allen. I get it. It's a different scheme, but Brees is too good to not be able to still be an effective rusher. I'm not buying it, man. Brees is scheme proof. He's that special of a talent. He had a bad game yesterday. You got to wake up, man. And look, Denver's got a good defense. I get it. But cannot score an offensive touchdown when you're at home with 9 days to get ready for them. When Denver didn't even fly back cross country, they stayed in West Virginia for the week. You lose? You can't have it. Jet it out. An NFL Super Bowl roster with high school coaching. Yeah, I mean, look, I still believe in the talent on this team, you know? And I'm watching some of these throws Rodgers made yesterday. Michael Nadia's got the all-22. He's tweeting out clips. We'll have Fialco on with us tomorrow. I mean, Rodgers made some unbelievable plays when he had time. And when he didn't have time, he was still taking hit. Like, I just watched the throw he made to Lazard where he took a brutal shot, but he still stood in there and scrambled a little bit to buy an extra second. It just, Aaron Rodgers can't win with this. I don't know. You don't have the coach. Prove us wrong, Salah. Go beat the Vikings now. All right. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people on hold. Those will be our final 6 callers. I got to get back to the city today. I got Will Pod 4. So we got to end the show in just a bit. Let's say hello to Gary. He's next. Hey, Gary.
What's up, Jake? So a couple of things. Last year, the Kansas City Chiefs lost to the Denver Broncos. They also lost to the Las Vegas Raiders, and they won the Super Bowl. Everyone's got to relax. It's week 4 of a 17-round fight. We're 2-2. We're to be the 5 seed right now. We're in fine shape. You just can't have more rounds like that last one.
Well, that's the concern, though, right? Like this was like a 10-7 round if we're boxing, if we're scoring it.
But it's not. There's no knockdown. It's a 10-9 round. You lost that round. We just can't have more rounds like that. Okay, that's a terrible round. You're still on your feet. You just can't have more rounds like that. It's 2-2. We're in fine shape. We need to get back to what we do, which is run the ball and kill the quarterback. We didn't do that.
No, they didn't sack Nick once yesterday.
That's not acceptable. I wanted to sack him like 7 times. I wanted to just blitz him the whole time and make him make mistakes. And
they still only allowed
60 passing yards.
Yeah. Well, they still only allowed 10 total points. It's like I feel like I'm back in last year again. Like people are killing the defense and like we're all pissed, but it's like at the end of the day, like while they were not perfect, you give up 10 points, you got to win that game, man. Like Zerline hits that kick, they win it. Bad as they played, they didn't deserve to win, but it's just like they were so close to still stealing this one despite how bad they played, You're
right. And if it's not, I can't say if it's not windy and rainy like that, like he hits that field goal at the end, but I had a bad feeling about that field goal, like a 50-yarder. They just missed a 50-yard. Like I didn't have a good feeling when that thing went off.
Well, does he hit it though? The conditions aren't bad. I mean, he shanked that kick the previous game against New England. He wasn't great in the preseason. Like, I'm now a little. I know it's a really tough kick, and I get it. I don't want to bury Zerline. Like it's Lutz is a really good kicker. He missed the same one. I get it, but I don't know. Like Herb Charles is a mess right now as the gunner. You have concerns now with Zerline. You're getting nothing from Curley in the kicking return game or the punt return game. Like other than Morstead, who's amazing, they have some problems with the special teams right now too.
I want to address a few things. And we all love Joe Benigno. I love listening to Joe and Evan back when I lived in New York back like 10, 15 years ago. I loved it. But then I put in the super chat about the overreaction. And I just want to list this out.
I like how he killed Sean Marks in your Nets, by the way. That was great.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Let's fire Sean Marks. I'm all with that, Joe. We agree on that. So he said that Sauce Gardner, Breece Hall, and Garrett Wilson are overrated. He said that Braylon Allen should be playing over Breece Hall, and he said that Rex Ryan is a better head coach than Bill Parcells. See, these are the overreactions that I'm talking about. And he said,
well,
we're going to be 2-5.
That's Joe. He lives in.
That's what I mean by everyone needs. I love Joe. We all love Joe because he's our uncle, right? Like we get it. But these are the overreactions. We're 2-2. We're not 0-4.
But can you acknowledge? Can you acknowledge that yesterday was an egregious loss?
Train wreck, horrible. Yes. We can't have more rounds like that. But we're 2-2 in a 17-round fight.
Yes,
we're very much in this fight. All right, we just need to get back to what we do. That was awful. Like there's no. I'm not gonna blame the weather. That was horrible. But that's done with. That's over with. Now we just need to go to England and beat Minnesota, and that's very possible. It's a very possible thing. We're not asking you to go beat the 85 Bears. I'm saying go beat Minnesota. It's a reasonable thing to do. And then another thing Joe said was that Buffalo's not a fraud because they have the quarterback. I agree. I've been saying that Buffalo's really good. But we're going to be 2-5. We have Aaron Rodgers. It's like if you're saying they're good because they have Josh Allen, we're just as good because we have Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
It's like,
but
you guys make it sound like Zach Wilson is still lining up on the center. We have Aaron Rodgers.
True, but they had Aaron Rodgers yesterday and still lost. Like I understand why the long time.
Allen's had stinkers too. Allen lost to Zach Wilson last year. Do you think Buffalo?
Look, I agree with the premise of your call. I just think you're a little too positive after that type of, because it's not just the loss yesterday. The loss in and of itself obviously sucks losing. It's how specifically they lost is too reminiscent of the other games they've lost in the Robert Saleh era, where you had a tangible excuse to blame the quarterback situation. You can't now. So all your concerns with the coaching, they come to life because a lot of our concerns with the Jets was, well, the coaching might not be great, but how can we fairly evaluate them with this quarterback situation? You now have the quarterback and the same type of loss happen. It's not just one loss. It's an alarming pattern because Salah's in his 4th year and they're still committing 15 penalties. They're still not understanding how to use proper personnel usage. Like this is the same regime that decided to start Braxton Berrios over Garrett Wilson as a rookie. You know what I mean? Like there's a pattern here of not using the right personnel. Like it's concerning. It's alarming.
So like two last things, and then you can hang up with me. Like first, after and Neil, I think was actually being the voice of reason, which is like crazy. But like after week 1, we were
Voice
overrated.
of reason. Look at this guy. Yeah.
After week 1, we were overrated. 10 days later, we're going to win the Super Bowl after we're 2-1. 10 days after that, we're going to be 2-5. It's like, everybody relax.
Yes.
Okay, that was a horrible week. It's over. Put it behind you. All right, it's like when you have a fight with your chick. This doesn't mean the relationship is over. Put that fight behind you, learn from it, and don't do that again. Like, that's done with. Like, the Denver game, I went to the game with Allen because I wanted to go to a game watch a game with Allen. I watched the game with Allen because I wanted to watch a game with Allen where the Jets would just dominate and then have nothing. He'd have nothing to complain about.
You watched the game with Allen yesterday?
Yeah, I put the picture in the Discord. Yeah.
Oh, I missed it.
I picked that game specifically because I wanted a game where he'd have to be happy. Like the Jets would just roll. So I'm like, the Denver game. We're gonna go watch the Denver game together.
What was he like during the game? Was he miserable? Was he like, see, Salah?
There's a little bit of like he's a Jet. I will. He's a Jets fan. He was not happy with the loss, but then there is that little bit of I told you Salah sucks. I told you Salah. And look, I've been with you with Salah. Like he's not the greatest thing in the world, but like I'm okay with him. I want to like him. You can't keep. There was 13 penalties. Well, 15 and 13 accepted. This is not a one-off. This is a reoccurring theme with him.
That's the concern.
I want to defend him, but this is getting tough defending him. Like I like him. If he was your neighbor, he'd be your best friend. I like his approach. I like his even keel mentality. I like him. Just this is not really working with him right now. Like it's not. And I want to root for him. I like him as a guy.
That's the concern. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, yeah, they're 2-2, and like glass half full. They're 2-2. That the season ended today, they'd be in the playoffs right now, right? Like, so like it's a long season, right? It's like it's September 30th. Like, they're 2-2. They're not 0-4. They're not 1-3. But it's alarming to have some of the concerns you have with the coaching staff that you thought would now be nullified because one, you figured Salah would improve because he's been doing this now for 4 seasons. 2, he has a quarterback that's legitimate, so you can't use that as a clear excuse. And I don't think it was an excuse. I think it was a reason. Like, there's excuses and then there's reasons. Like, the reason why the Jets have gone 7-10 the last 2 years, to me, has way more to do with the quarterback situation than the coach. But a loss like yesterday, even if you're the biggest solid defender out there, you have to acknowledge, like, that is an unacceptable game. And if there's another one like that, he's gone. Like, it can't happen. That cannot happen again.
I wanted to, look, the only time I like firing a coach midseason is if you want to elevate a coordinator on a team that sucks. Like if you're 3-11 and you're like, okay, I want the OC or the DC to be the head coach, do it. But like to do it at this point, like, let's say the Jets go out and look horrible next week against Minnesota. Firing Salah, I don't think that's you just have to ride the season out with them. Like at this point, we decided to go with them. I don't think firing them mid-season, I think it's going to cause more problems, more chaos than it is solutions. And I understand it's not well. I just think in a year that you're expecting to win, you got to ride the season out with them. I don't think firing them week 7 or week 10 or whatever is a good thing on a team that's trying to win.
I think it depends on how it looks again. Like if there's another game like this, the penalties, and I also don't. I think if they lose to the Vikings, they wouldn't fire him, right? I think that he's say whatever you want about Salah. They have played the Bills well at home the last 2 years. I think he would get the Monday night game, but they're 2-4, they're 2-5. Then yeah, I mean, it could actually happen at that point.
They're not going to be 2-5. Okay, like is it
I don't think
possible
so
they go
either.
1-2? Yeah, in this next 3 games, but it's also possible they go 3-0. Like they 1-3. It's a tough. Just get through this. If they get through this 2-1, to me, that's a win. Get 4-3, you got through that tough patch of your schedule. And then you got New England again after that. Like, just get through these.
Yes, 2-1 is huge. But if they lose to the Vikings. I mean, you talk about a week from hell. On a personal note, hell for me coming back from London after that. But then just all this hype and hoopla and just the dumping on the Jets all week locally and nationally leading into that Monday night game. It's going to be tough. They better win, man. You got Aaron Rodgers to go and beat the Vikings to be able to respond to games like this. Protect them, and I think they have a great chance to win on Sunday. That's how you got to look at it.
I agree. As long as you protect Rodgers, you're going to have a chance to win every game because you have a top-notch defense and Aaron Rodgers. You have weapons now, too, right? This isn't like you have plenty of weapons. Like last year, I looked at the Jets as like what they call in boxing a fringe contender. Like, all right, he's got a shot, but I'm not picking him to win. This year, the Jets are a legitimate contender. There's no fringe, right? Because you have weapons. We're seeing what Mike Williams is. Like, Mike Williams was the only positive thing that happened yesterday was Mike Williams.
Yeah.
Like, you got Garrett. You've got to get on the same page. I understand that people want to kill Garrett Wilson today. But you got Williams. You have weapons. I know people want to kill Breece Hall. Breece Hall is a superstar. He is. We all know he is. Just chill. He had a bad game. But we have these weapons to go with Rodgers and a great defense. Like, as long as you protect Rodgers, we're in every game. Like, we should win every game with that formula of things. So
they got it, Gary. They got to show up now, man. Good call. They got to show up. Like, the talent is still there. I don't think Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson forgot how to be great players. Especially Breece. We could debate what level of receiver Garrett is. Okay, so he's not top 5. Like, are we just going to act like Garrett Wilson didn't show you for the first 2 years how good he is with putrid quarterback play? Also, isn't it amazing that with the Jets in crisis, that somehow Gary, of all people, is actually, like, optimistic and, like, coherent and rational? Amazing. Good to see you, by the way, on Saturday, Gary. Gary happened to be in New York and came to the Talking Jets meetup I was at. Oh, man. I agree with you on Mike Williams, though. Mike Williams is finding his footing right now. He's a stud. They got to get him involved. Have to. Their offense needs more Mike Williams. Need him. Jerio says, stop living in the past, Jake. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? Seriously, I've had it. I've done this for 2 hours. I haven't slept. I had a wedding last night where I was miserable. Stop living in the past. I'm living in the now, man. All right? I'm living in the now. Go F yourself. See you later. F you. F you. F you too. I mean, living in the past. Please. I have no patience anymore, man. I have no patience. I apologize for the language, but I'm sorry. I am as disgusted as I have been in a very long time. All right, we have Rob, Indomitable, Bonesy, Jerome, and Ted, our last callers here. Then I got to go. All right, I can't do this right now. We got Will Pod at 4 o'clock. Rob, what do you got for us?
Jake, don't apologize. Tell that guy to go freaking hump himself.
Yeah, I can't.
You know what? You live in the now. You tell it like it is. This guy's a jackass. Jackass. Go find another station, asshole. Okay? That's first of all. Second of all, just give me 1 extra minute. But you know what, Jake? I mean, Alan, excuse me. Gary talking us off the ledge.
Amazing.
I never thought in a million years that Gary would be talking us off the ledge. I love you for that, Gary, but I hate you for hanging out with Alan. I mean, what the fuck are you doing? Pardon the
you could have paid me to watch a game with that guy. That's unreal.
Right? Right.
Like, honestly, like my starting bid to have to watch a Jets game with Alan is, it's.
Could you imagine?
There's at least 4 zeros in it at the bare minimum.
What do you think I would do to Alan watching a game with him?
It'd be the last game Alan ever watched with you, or the last game he ever watches ever.
Gary, too many punches to the head if you're hanging out with that asshole. But let's move on from that. I appreciate you talking us off the ledge. But you know what, Jake? I mean, and I'm going to rip on Salah again because I am a fair guy. And you know that I've always defended Salah. You can go back to all your previous takes with me, and I'm always defending Salah. Give him a chance, give him a chance, give him a chance. But here's the thing. Regardless of who called the plays it being Hackett, Aaron Rodgers, I don't give a crap. You are the head coach of this team. And this is the time that you have to pull rank and you have to say, nope, Aaron, I'm sorry. Or if it was Hackett, I'm sorry. I want Braylon in there 4 times on on the goal line to run it in. Because you know what? Chances are 4 times he's getting in. You know it and I know it. And the difference between him getting in is we win the game. So you know what? This is where you got to overrule these people and say, I am a real head coach. And you know what? I don't care if you guys get mad at me later on for the call that I have made or I superseded your call. But you know what? Braylon Allen's got to run it 4 times. I don't care. It hurt feelings with Brees. Brees had a bad game. You know what? Man up. Sit down for a little while. You're not having a good game, buddy. You know, we didn't lose confidence for you for the whole entire year, but this game we have, and you need to sit down because Braylon is running north-south productively. So you got to put him in there. That's number 1. Number 2, if this continues, Jake, you know, I love Joe B, but Joe B's got to calm down a little bit with bringing Rex back and Tannenbaum and stuff. I mean, come on. I mean, you're living like 20 years ago. Towards the end, Rex Ryan was losing his crap anyway. Let's be honest. Rex Ryan at the end was not a great head coach. And it was also because of personnel. I get that. We lost Tannenbaum, started making stupid calls towards the end. But I think he's nuts that he thinks that Rex Ryan is a better coach than Bill Parcells. You're out of your mind, first of all. But you know what it is, Jake, too? If this continues with Salah, I definitely would be looking for Vrabel next year. Fresh, young blood, because I don't think Vrabel loses this type of a game. That's first thing. Another thing that they made a huge mistake, Jake, and I said this earlier a while back, they should have kept Brandon Codrington. I think, am I pronouncing that correctly? Brandon Codrington, who they traded to Buffalo. And I didn't have confidence in Gibson. This guy, every time he goes for a punt return, it's like 2 or 3 yards and stuff, or he doesn't move. And wide receiver, he has not panned out to be a wide receiver. Why did we draft Malachi Corley if he's never involved? Okay, you know what, Jake? Even if he looks bad in some of these practices, you got to get your feet wet. You got to at least go out there. Gibson's not doing it. So you know what? That means let's give Malachi a try. Let's get Mike Williams more involved, who's looked wonderful so far. He's looked great so far. I love it. But you know what? Be a real head coach, Salah, right now, and go beat Minnesota. You saw, right?
Bounce back? No, Rob, 100%, man. I agree with all that. Like, it's, you know, they're 2-2. They're not 0-4, not 1-3. Like, 2-2. You have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. You're playing Sam Darnold. He's played really well. He's also prone to turnovers. Vikings aren't, last I checked, as good as the Vikings have played, like, are they going to go 17-0? Like, they're not going to lose a game this year? Like, I don't see that happening. You know, it's not in Minnesota. It's a neutral field. Rodgers has played in London before. There's some experience there. The Jets, a couple of years ago, played in London. Can Robert Saleh learn from that experience? I mean, let go win the game. Go win the game. The season's not over. You're 2-2. It's as disappointing and disgusting and all the feelings that we have after yesterday. Like, you flush it and you move forward, man. We gave you the stat on all these playoff teams last year that had brutal losses. You know, like if the season were to end today, people are like, "Oh, the season's over." Well, if the season ended today, they'd be in the playoffs right now. You know? Like, they're at a crossroads in their season early on here when you lose that way. But, you know, like, ugly game. Like, the 2010 Jets lost 9-0 to Rodgers Packers at home on Halloween. They were in the AFC Championship game. So, like, I have major concerns now about the coaching staff, the head coach for sure. But prove me wrong. Prove us wrong. Go win. Yeah, we're 11 days ago, we were talking about this team going on a run to being one of the best teams in the league after they looked like they did against New England. Go win. I'll take things that didn't happen for $1 million. JetFan365 writes in, LOL, we are Jet fans. Why is everyone so disappointed in the loss? I put $2,500 on the money line with Denver and cleaned up. I love my Jets, but they're the Jets. Things that did not happen for $1 million. This.
All the pieces come together in a season, it can be absolute perfection, folks, because that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the Jets, led by Zach Wilson, will fucking suck ass, guys.
Show us the bet slip. 2,500 on Broncos money line. Yeah, my ass. I had sex with Margot Robbie last night, huh? That's probably more realistic than your fake Jet fan 365 bet. Indomitable is up now. I'm so pissed off today. I apologize for anything that's come out of my mouth in these last two shows. I'm disgusted. Indomitable is next. Hello, Indomitable.
Jake, what's up, man?
What's up, dude?
First and foremost, thank you for all you do, man. That run yesterday was legendary, and thank you for getting us through the misery of being a diehard Jets fan. Last week I called when O'Leary was on. I told you that historically, after a bye week or a mini bye, under Robert Salah, we have been worse than the 1928 Pattsville Maroons. We still can't play good after a bye week or a mini bye. And for this man, Robert Salah, to stand in front of the New York sports media, the toughest media market in the whole world in sports, and talk about the rain. I mean, we're talking about football. The elements are it's a winter sport. The elements are always going to be part of the game. It's not only disrespectful to the game, but it's disrespectful to people like George Halla, Vince Lombardi, and all those dudes that had to coach on conditions of 300 degrees below zero, in the tundra, in snow, etc. So Robert Salah doesn't have any accountability over himself, nor he has accountability on the players. When you had Brees Hall saying, "Oh, they are covering us," or "they have the attention on us," that's why you get paid. If you're the RB1, if you're the WR1, you need to try to make plays for the team. And the team was undisciplined. The team had a lot of penalties. The team was, at one point, Salah was smiling on the sideline. There's no reason to smile, man. This team could have easily be 1-3 had we not made adjustments after that Tennessee Titans game at halftime. So coaching is about teaching. And the only thing that I think Salah is teaching this squad is to be cheerleaders. Let me tell you something real quick. If you go to South America or Europe, I'm a big soccer fan. And if you go to any sports league, you can go from elementary school to professional. A synonym for a coach is profesor, which is professor or teacher. So basically, what is Salah teaching this team? What is going to be our identity moving forward? And for those people saying, yeah, we're going to win 4 in a row, Neil, I love you. And Joe B, I love you. But we need to be realistic. There's a high possibility. We're going to play the Vikings against Kevin O'Connell, a good coach.
Don't one thing, man. Don't love Joe B and Neil. I mean, they're both long to suffering Jet fans, but Neil's talking about winning 4 in a row. Joe B's worried about being 2-5. So they're completely opposite end of the spectrum.
Exactly. What I'm trying to say is that there's a distinct possibility that we can, worst case scenario, we go 1-2 the next 3 games. We're gonna play Kevin O'Connell against Kevin O'Connell. He's like a good coach. We play the Bills, second win against team since 2018, and we play the Steelers. We don't have to talk about the Steelers. So just to finish up, like, it's all about right now. It's all about coaching. We are playing chess without having arms, and Salah is not the answer. It's like having a Ferrari with no engine. And talking about bringing Rex Ryan back is the equivalent of going back with a girlfriend that cheated on you and she was hot. It's over. It's done. And you look around the NFL, like for instance, Washington, it's a new NFL. Like, you need a good, like right now, we are tied up because we have a good squad, but we don't have no coaching. So hopefully we get it together, at least 3 and 4, worst case scenario, to face the Patriots, and go Jets. Thank you so much, Jake. I appreciate you, man. Love you, bro.
And Downville, I appreciate you, man. Good call. Good call. Yeah, it's just like there's no excuse for Robert Salah anymore. We're out of it. I have said all year we will learn about this coach if he's learned to be better. If it was, if he's the guy. A loss like that makes you question everything. But to try and be fair, they're 2-2. They're in a lot better position than some of these other quote unquote teams that were in the playoffs last year, right? Like, how would it feel right now to be a Browns fan? You look at the standings right now. I mean, there's a lot of just mediocre teams so far in the conference. The Bengals are 1-3 right now. Pittsburgh look like world beaters. They just lost to the Colts yesterday. They're 3-1 all of a sudden. Ravens 0-2, and now they're 2-2. Like, it's been an up and down. Like, the Chiefs are 4-0. They haven't even played that well. Mahomes has what, like 6 touchdowns, 5 picks on the year? And now they don't have Rashee Rice. They're already without Pacheco. Like, that's why it's so hard to repeat in the NFL. And it's so hard to, I mean, no one's ever won 3 in a row. This is why it's hard. You need a lot of luck to break your way. Chargers 2-2. They were 2-0. Raiders 2-2. They haven't been great, but they're 2. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like most of the league has a lot of issues right now. They do. Like, the Texans are 3-1. They really haven't played great, but they're 3-1. Like, like Titans 0-3. Like, Miami doesn't have a quarterback. They could be 1-3 by the end of the night. Hopefully the Titans beat them. As bad as the Jets have played, it's all right in front of them. There's a lot of teams with issues right now. That's kind of the point I'm making. So, like, the Jets certainly have issues. We have major concerns about this coach, but I'm not giving up on the season on September 30th. As bad as yesterday was, it's like go prove us wrong, right? If you like Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, you guys have been star players in this league. We've seen it. Go play like it. Go win. Like last I checked, like Sam Darnold has played well. I'm sorry. The Vikings don't have such a clear talent advantage. They should dominate the Jets. Like, they have a coaching advantage until proven otherwise, but go prove us wrong. That's how I got to look at it at this point. It's how we all only can look at it. Ladies and gentlemen, I should have got to this earlier, but the chat was going crazy. The great Mike D's Nuts came through for the first time today during this long stream and gifted 5-channel membership. These nuts. Yeah. Here we go. SD Jet Fan, UK Jet Fan, Ant Banks, I'm Metch, and Alex W. all received channel memberships. Mike, I appreciate the support, man. I feel terrible you had to drive as far as you did to watch that game in person yesterday. God. Felix wrote in, we need to start with Allen this week, get Corley involved in the game, use Mike Williams and Conklin more. I agree. Look, Conklin kind of is what he is, right? I think he's an average tight end. Nice. He can make some plays here or there. I really think Mike Williams needs to be a focal point of the offense. Him and Braylon Allen. They're ready, man. Play your best players. I don't care about feelings. You got to win this week. Sco says, positive Gary. I like it. Ollie with a super chat. Wow, thank you, Gary and Jake, for speaking reason. We aren't used to what we saw Thursday, so now we can't handle a bad game. Following it, it happens to other good teams. Let's see how the Jets respond. Who's your daddy says, all hail the king. Great call by King Lowski earlier. Michael wrote in, I really doubt Vrabel will last till next offseason. I don't know if anyone's hiring Vrabel in season. Now, Vrabel would be near the top of my list if they do end up making a change after this year. Right? I mean, the guy's won before. I think he holds players accountable. Now, he's a defensive guy. He's not an offensive guy, so that's your concern. And I guess the concern would be, like, is Rodgers coming back for another year if they fire the head coach? I still would say yes, but what about Douglas at that point? Is Douglas picking the coach? As bad as yesterday was, it's still September 30th. They're 2-2. They'd be in the playoffs if the season ended today. I don't want to do the hypotheticals with coach, GM. Like, we will have so much time to debate this if this season goes off the rails, right? We lived it last year. The hell that was, that 5-game losing streak after they were 4-3. Like, I don't want to go through that again. At least not yet. We got to go through it. Obviously, I've been doing this show now. This is my 4th season covering the Jets every day on YouTube. We'll do it then. We don't need to do it yet. Jay Graves says, Jake, you've been saying this year with Rodgers would show us who the coaching staff is. Yeah. And yet yesterday was a stark reminder that despite the talent, if your coaching problem is as bad as it was yesterday, you could lose to anyone. Ted's next. Then we'll go to Bonesy and Jerome. Hey, Ted.
Jake, good morning. Appreciate a few minutes. I talked about last week about the game plan for beating the Broncos because the Steelers had it. You run a big back in there, you run 13 personnel, and you basically just see if they can stop it. And we did none of that. We should have been doing that, especially in those conditions. That should have been our starting point for our game. Okay. Secondly, this is basically, we've probably seen this kind of team that we played in Denver hundreds of times because we played Zach Wilson in practice. Bo Nix is Zach Wilson. Okay. The Broncos defense is a microcosm of the Jets. So what did we do to stop Zach Wilson? What did teams do to stop Zach Wilson? Heavy personnel, stack the box, don't let him run, and let Zach beat you with his arm or his legs. And we basically did.
Ted, your connection was very JJ-like. Your connection was as bad as the Jets' performance yesterday. Also, I believe it's illegal to wear headphones that big on the road, but I'm not going to narc on you. All right. I saw someone else in the chat was, though. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue with your calls.
The only thing better than all them shoes is Joey D. Cozy totally rules. Jake, my brother, I'm high as a kite. I love everybody. Damn, this show is crazy. Jake, my brother. What's
Bonesy,
going
before,
on, buddy?
you know what? I was going to say before you go, I was going to bring Ted back on because the screenshot of him frozen like this was hilarious. But unfortunately, he just dropped out, so I can't even show you that.
Yeah, yesterday hurt. With all the bullshit and all the complaining that we've all done today, there's only one thing that we're not talking about that we should be worried about, and that's Aaron Rodgers' health. I don't care what he says. It's gamesmanship. That man said, I got something going on in both my legs, and I'm going to go get in the hot tub. He couldn't – the last 3 drives of that game, if we didn't have hurt Rodgers, he had to orchestrate the offense around his injury. He was saying hike and throwing the ball within seconds because he couldn't move. So if we had just regular Rodgers, we would have got lucky and got the superstar quarterback call and the pass interference to put us in field goal range. If we would have had Rodgers, normal Rodgers, just to get us another 10 yards, we win that game, and then we could cope with how disgusting it was a little easier. But the only thing I'm worried about right now is Rodgers' health. Without Rodgers, this is impossible. So I'm very concerned with his mobility and his health for next game. His body language and him not being able to move out there was sad to watch because the offensive line was so bad that he got beat up. It's not fair. And then the fact that all of us on the couch at the game, wherever you were watching the game, is saying, where is Braylon Allen on some of these runs? Braylon is scraping 4 yards a run, and Brees can't get past the line. I love Brees. I drafted him in the Asmaniacs Fantasy Football League number 1. Did I want him to get that touchdown at the goal line? Yes. But our offensive line is not like go punch him in the mouth and just run the ball in and bully. We don't bully in the offensive line run game. We need our pass to open up the run. It is clear that we are becoming an offensive passing team that is going to open up the run from Rodgers spreading it out like we did New England. When we came out with the game plan, I know the weather, that's why we were trying to we looked like we did against San Francisco, where we just can't get short yardage. We can't get good runs. Brees was getting no yards. Only Braylon was moving the ball in the run game. And then Salah, if he doesn't get mad soon, we're gonna have a big problem. He can't he gives it's bad enough that he's more of a GM out there and lets the players yell and coach each other. But how about you're the coach of the team? How about you go and say, yo, man, put fucking Braylon in and run the ball? If we had Rex Ryan back in the day, Rex Ryan would have been like, punch him in the mouth, put Braylon in, run the ball. I can't with this. And then when the game has been so bad, our offensive line, I'm not putting how bad the offensive line played with the penalties on Salah, because Salah's not coaching them on that. But the fact that they're not disciplined or getting in trouble for it, or all I know is Salah cannot continue. We ran that the play where Rodgers did the fake run in the option and ran it for a first down. And then he looked over at the camera like a ghost, and then you look at Salah laughing on the sideline. And I'm just like, yo, why are you fucking laughing right now? What are you laughing at? We're about to lose the game. Salah really, I always love how Salah develops talent on the defensive side of the ball. And I loved how, I love his scheme sometimes when it's humming, but he definitely, I'm not I'll fire Salah. That's not happening. We're not firing Salah. We're going to be alive the rest of the year as long as Rodgers is healthy and in games.
Your point too, by the way the AFC is right now, even if the Jets are let's say they go 1-2 over their next 3, if they're 3-4, like there's probably going to be a 9-win team that makes the playoffs in the AFC. Like no one wants to settle for 9-8, make the play, but if that's the reality on what the Jets end up playing for, they're going to be in it all year. You're not going to fire the coach if that's the case. Now if they make the playoffs at 9-8 and lose in the wild card round, then you could fire the coach and do something else. But you know what I'm saying? Like as bad as they looked yesterday, they're 2-2 in a conference that outside of the Chiefs who haven't even played great, like every team's either 3-1, 2-2, or 1-3, or there's just a lot of mediocrity in the AFC right now.
And we're in the first quarter of the season. There's a lot more games, and did anybody in their right mind expect Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers to take this long to get on the same page? The fact that we're even saying out loud, like when you said it earlier, you were like, imagine we had he was throwing to Lazard on that play where him and Garrett were on the same play. He would have been looking and he would have caught it. It's like that is a fact. And the fact that we're even saying that, it's like, we need to see that connection mesh, because if we get Devontae, I think this is going to fix everything, because then you're going to get one other person, and we see how much value it is in a wide receiver to be on the same page as Aaron. I mean, take Lazard as he's a fourth stringer at best on any other team, and he's arguably the most effective player because he's on the same page as our quarterback. So we get Devontae, that's going to change everything, because we can't keep watching Garrett struggle like this. He's too talented, and I don't know. We need to see them fix that, and I really want to see Salah be a head coach. He know what he is. He acts like he's like Mike Tomlin or Harbaugh, who don't coach either side. They don't call plays, but they coach. They do things. They go talk to the defense. Salah, I watch. He just walks around on the sideline, and he's not ever getting in. He should say, who cares about feelings right now? I understand, you don't want to crush Breece's feelings, but it's Breece, you're getting no yards. Your body language is terrible. Your face is dead. Braylon is running for 4 or 5 yards a game. I'm sorry, brother. We're putting your brother in and watching him eat. Cause the fact that we didn't score on that goal line, disgusting. And even for years, we've always had, We've been crying for Breece to be our goal line back, but for the past 2 years with Breece, you've seen them go to Michael Carter sometimes on short yardage or Ty Johnson, and you were like, put Breece in. Maybe Breece isn't a thumper down there. And I better see Salah yell at somebody. And we just all we need is if Rodgers is healthy, if Rodgers is better, we're going to be okay. We're going against the Vikings. Let's just see what happens. I'm not overreacting. We're not firing the coach. We're 2-2. You said it all show. Raiders, look at the Raiders. They beat the Ravens. Then it's I'm pretty angry, but I love you, Jake.
Bonesy, I love you too. You should be angry. Right? We all should be angry. We need it's therapeutic. We get it all out of our system on the show, and then they're 2-2. They're a 5 seed in the AFC right now. Go win on Sunday. But the one thing Bonesy said at the beginning of the call, he's right. Aaron Rodgers is not 100% healthy right now. Now, I think he's going to play on Sunday. I'm not saying but Salah said today he doesn't think he'll be on the injury report. I don't know if I buy that. If you get any sort of treatment from the trainers, by NFL rules, you got to be listed on the injury report. He took some big hits yesterday, man. It's unacceptable. Tyron Smith has allowed more sacks already this season than he has since 2017. What happened, man? He was the pass protection was excellent the first 3 games. It really was. Rodgers did a great job getting the ball out quick. The Jets were number 1 on 3rd down in the league. So here's what you hope, right? I don't know if I believe this myself, but if you remember, week 1 was the outlier game for the defense. The defense since has played very well overall, even with some things you can nitpick. Is yesterday's game the outlier game for the offense, right? Where it's just weather, not prepared, outcoached by Vance Joseph. You got taken to the woodshed. Are they now going to respond the way the defense has? Now, the defense has 3 years of proof that they're a very good defense. They proved it. This offense has nothing to fall back on. They got no proof. They got Rodgers. He's proven. But so many unknowns right now. So we don't know. But I'll say it again. They are very lucky Aaron Rodgers did not leave this game on a cart yesterday. He took some ridiculous hits. That can't happen. He's not going to make it through the season if that happens again. He got hit, 15 times? Completely unacceptable by the offensive line. I don't need to hear from AVT afterwards. Oh, well, if you watch the film, it will show that we got after it. No, you didn't. Quarterback was on the ground way too many times. And it's not just the line, too. Brees was terrible in pass protection. Terrible. I thought Ruckert had a bad game. I'm watching some of these plays at the goal line. Michael Nania tweeted out the all-22. And you got Ruckert and John Simpson on one of these Brees Hall rushing attempts trying to block the same guy. Just out of sync, discombobulated, not on the same page down there. Can't happen. Can't happen. This was unacceptable. Indy Jet says, I blame the head coach for not having the balls to get rid of Hackett. Also, it's not Robert Saleh's fault. Rodgers is throwing. Look, was Rodgers great yesterday, Indy? No. It was a wet ball. He missed a couple throws. He gave him a chance to win this game. He did. I mean, he made some outstanding plays yesterday. He's so badly outplayed Bo Nix, and that's why it sucks to lose this game, because it's all coaching. Bo Nix had 60-yard passing. He had negative yardage at halftime. Rodgers had 225 yards in this game, and they lost. It's unfathomable they lost. Big Fella says, been saying Salah shows no fire, doesn't hold players accountable for forever. Now Rodgers pretty much said the same. That's not good. Let's hope he learns from Rodgers. Let's take it to the bite. They got to get on the same page, man. I don't think their relationship is unfixable or it's like, there's a real rift, but you're seeing the warning signs, right? This is what happens when you lose. When you win, everything's great. When you lose, there's tension. No such thing as a must-win when you're 2-2. Feels like this is a pretty significant game, though, for the Jets. Who's Your Daddy says, Jets 365, just show the ticket and stop acting like a middle school girl show and stop chirping. Jet Fan 365 did not bet $2,500 on the Broncos. He's a fraud, and I will drink his tears. Please send them in a bucket so I could slurp them down in front of you, Jet 365. Oh, delicious. C with a super chat. Thank you, C. Yesterday was painful. Sat in silence for about 6 hours. Glad to see 8 holding people accountable. Season's nowhere near over. Could easily be an outlier. Only one game out of first. 20-5. Tighten up. I mean, I appreciate the optimism. See, I do. What gives you hope is how mediocre, the rest of the conference is. Even Buffalo looked like world beaters. They got destroyed last night. Sometimes it's just not your day. Felt like that happened in week 1. This team wasn't going to go 17-0. The reason why I had 12-5 and people were jumping me saying, who are they going to lose to? Because there's always going to be a game that the Jet. You thought it'd be different with Rodgers, but maybe now it will be from this point on. This was the humbling experience they needed. It's too early to know how this is going to go. Now, history's on your side if you say, well, it's going to go poorly because it's the Jets. If you're typically negative about the Jets, you're going to be right more times than not. Look at the last 14 years without the playoffs. I still think this team is good enough to overcome some coaching issues and still be a playoff team. I still believe that. Craig says, Jake, what was the game that you realized Salah ain't it? For me, it was 2022 versus the Lions at home with clock management. I'll give you the game. It was the Dolphin game last year where they lost 30-0. Zach sucked in that game, but he was running for his life. He got concussed. And that was after they had this great win over the Texans. And I came on the postgame show that day, and I remember saying, these are the type of games that get you fired. I was like, we're on Salah watch now for the rest of the year. If they tank, if they suck the rest of the way, I don't know if he's surviving this, even with the Rodgers injury. I remember saying that. And to be fair, after that game, they won 3 of their final 5. I think that definitely saved Salah's job. Woody came out and said everyone's coming back before the Commie game. They won that game. By the way, I know Commanders fans are thanking Greg Zuerlein today. If Zuerlein doesn't make that kick against Washington, they don't have Jane Daniels right now. So at least there's one fan base out there that's happy with Greg Zuerlein today. But that was the game where I was really concerned about Salah. I remember saying this doesn't happen. Even with Zach Wilson at quarterback, division rival, that was the game they got eliminated from postseason contention after they lost. And they lost. They didn't show up. It was a 30-0. Remember, DJ Reed was on Jalen Waddle, even though Tyreek Hill didn't play in that game. And I'm like, how was Sauce not covering Waddle the entire game? That was alarming to me that night. That day. I remember I was very concerned about Salah. But they finished strong, and it's okay, he has a quarterback. Let's see it. And right now they're 2-2, and yesterday I think is squarely on the coach. So I'm not feeling great about this coach right now. How could you? How could you? Prove us wrong. Otherwise, he won't be here. He shouldn't be here. He's in his 4th year. There's no excuses. He has the talent. He has the quarterback. He has his hand-picked coaching staff. It's enough. Willie says, Jets so used to trash ball, it seems like rocket science with A-Rod at the helm. Brees, G5, O-line looks lost. Coaches have favorites, too, with the players. I think there's something, too, like not wanting to hurt Brees' ego by not using him at the goal line. Like, oh, Brees is our guy. Like, no, Braylon Allen's better in short yardage. Use him. It's not fantasy football. And I have Brees on my fantasy team. And I'm telling you, use Braylon Allen. I don't care if Brees doesn't get his touchdowns. I want to win. Yeah, you're 2-2 after the first quarter of the football season. Time to figure it out. The great Connie Carberg is in the house. She says, got to use screens to get Brees and space catching passes. Our O-line couldn't handle their blitz and 5-man defensive line. Well said, Connie. I agree. And like the Jets had no answers to the blitz. They never made any adjustments. Like, did Brees have one single screen designed for him yesterday? I loved what Rodgers said after the game. He talked up Brees, says, I love Brees. He's a great kid. He wants it. He works hard. We got to get him in space. So him and Hackett need to sit down and come up with a game plan this week to get ready for the Brian Flores blitzes that are coming. If you think Denver's going to blitz, the number 2 team in blitzing is the Vikings. Denver's 1. Flores is going to blitz. Rodgers has to be ready for the blitz this week. And it's not just him. It's on the pass protection. It's on Brees also to pick up guys and understand assignments. It's on Ruckert and Conklin. No one blocked well yesterday. It was awful. I thought Olu might have been their best offensive lineman, which is bad. That shouldn't be the case. I mean, it's like the Jets didn't practice this past week. It's just completely unacceptable. Big fella writes in, Jet fan 365, I have $500 on you going to the hole. Jet fan 365 wrote in, I got $500 that says Jake doesn't have a girlfriend and is a virgin. Well, a couple things on this. All right. How do I word this properly here? With all due respect, ask your mom about me.
Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it.
What a time. Had to send someone to the hole today. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. It helps the YouTube algorithm show this show to more Jet fans. 38,000 plus subscribers. Please subscribe if you haven't. It is free. There's still 885 of you watching live. So please click that subscribe button, thumbs up button. Helps the channel grow. Spread the word to any Jet fan you know going to London. We got a huge party Saturday night at the Hippodrome Casino. Food and drinks, 18 plus. We'll see you there, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Also, another reminder, this show's available in podcast form on both Apple and Spotify. If you want to find a Jet podcast in audio form, why not this one? One last call, and let's wrap it up. Jerome, the Packer fan, is next. Hey, Jerome.
What's going on, Jay? What's going on, my friends? All the ass maniacs. You know, just to piggyback and to just kind of pick up what I was telling you yesterday. No quarterback, even the greats, they can't mitigate or overcome undiscipline. It stifles drives and it keeps you from getting in any kind of rhythm. As I was explaining yesterday, Salah, he has to learn to show the ability to make adjustments, watching the games, talking to his other coaches, and seeing what's needed at any given time so he can make adjustments on the fly. He has to, at this point now, it's about conventional wisdom, where you have to be practical. You go with what's working, you go away from what's not working. All these egos, that's going to get y'all losing. That's going to get y'all to losing games. He has to now play good cop, bad cop, good parent, bad parent. It's about winning right now, and his hide is on the line right now. And so you basically you stick with what works, and that's just conventional wisdom. You can't just not be paying attention to the games, and if it takes for him to sit players that's not producing, that's what he needs to do. That's the only thing. Consequences and pain is the greatest teachers of us all. You can't, you're not going to produce, you won't be playing. And as far as Garrett, as I told you, I was telling y'all yesterday, it's going to take a while. It took Devontae a while to develop into Devontae Adams. Rodgers used to chew him out all the time. It's just going to take time with him and Garrett. That's not something that just.
I agree with you for the record. Like
that's not something that clicks.
I'm a Garrett guy. I believe in him. I think he's a high character dude. I think he wants to be great. I think him and Rodgers are going to figure this out. I really, as far as my list of concerns, Garrett Wilson not being a good player with Rodgers thrown to him is very far down on my list.
It's the discipline. It's the discipline, and then the coach not understanding how to make adjustments at the right time on the fly. He has to pay attention to what's going on in the game so he could say, okay, this is what's working. We're going to go with this. We're going to sit this person. We're going to implement this tactic and strategy and see what happens from there. But Robert Salah, if he doesn't get that reeled in, he's going to cost y'all games y'all not supposed to lose.
Yeah.
And y'all saving grace is because it's a lot of parity in the league. You got a lot of teams that's winning that don't normally win, teams that's losing. It's real shaky in the AFC now. So that's kind of saving y'all a little bit, but I wouldn't hang my hat on that.
Well, no,
he has to get this. He has to get
this. We could talk about how the Jets are still alive, and they are. I mean, if the season ended today, they'd be in the play. But this was a fundamental issue that will ultimately destroy this football team if it continues. You're 2-2, your season's not over. It's very much alive, but it is up to the Jets and really the head coach because it starts with him.
And I'm
out now. Otherwise, it's over. It's over before it starts.
Right, and you guys get absolutely beat the Vikings. The Packers, I think we win that game if we just kept with a set Jordan Love. He was not ready to come back. We had everything. We had the momentum and everything working with Malik Willis. We would not have been down early in that game. They wouldn't have pulled away like that. You go with what's working, and that's what I mean. You stick with what's working. You go with the hot hand. Jordan Love should not have came back because it took him 3 quarters to get his bearings on him. Yeah, he almost pulled it out, but why stifle what you had going? He could have been rested more and all that kind of stuff. I was ticked off at the Packers for we should have started Malik, let Malik start that game and play that game, and then it's not like our season was over or we was in any jeopardy or anything like that. And it's the same with the Jets. Y'all not in any jeopardy, but if y'all don't make these corrections and know when to ride the hot hand and when to sit a player when he's cold, and if it's not working, it's not working. You go with what's working. And Mike Williams, I need him starting every game. I need him starting. I need Mike Williams starting.
Yeah.
And
now, Jerome, let me ask you. I didn't get to see a lot of the game. I was flipping back and forth watching the Jets. How did Darnold play specifically? I know he was they put up a ton of points, but he had 2 turnovers.
Well, at the halftime, we made adjustments. They stifled Darnold. Darnold didn't do nothing in the second half. I was able to get back in that game. We was able to rattle him some. And I just think if we hadn't have fell behind, there's a lot of energy trying to get back into the game. So y'all can definitely y'all should be able to handle with the defense y'all have. Y'all should be able to stifle that. Y'all should be able to stifle Darnold. That's a game y'all should win. The only other thing that I'm concerned about is the coaching, because the Jets are overmatched. Where you're talking about what's that coach, Minnesota coach name, Flores, and what's that other guy name? They're gonna be ready. So y'all just defense needs to jump out on them early, and I think y'all can beat the Vikings. They can be had. They right to be had. We almost got them yesterday, and had we started Malik, we'd have beat them.
Hey, Jerome, good call. You got Jets got to beat Minnesota. No excuse. Vikings are good. They're not going 17-0. All right, they're due for a loss. Beat them. Kevin writes in, sitting in the stands was somehow worse than the loss. I would have felt better if I just stood in my shower fully clothed. Man, I really do feel for anyone at that game yesterday. The season ticket holders, right? I mean, it's the only 1 o'clock game at MetLife until December now. This was supposed to be the good weather game, you know? Traditional tailgate, 1 o'clock start. And now what? The next home game for the Jets is a Monday night game against the Bills. And yeah, the building's going to be insane that night, all that, you know. It's going to be awesome. But, you know, a lot of prime time, right? Bills and Texans, the Halloween game. I'll be at that one with the Asmaniacs in L5. Then the Colts on Sunday night. The bye week in week 12, week 13, Sunday against the Seahawks. I mean, it really is crazy that there's just one 1 o'clock game. And you know what's crazy? It really was not supposed to be that bad, right? Like normally when we know there's bad weather, we hear about it all week. It affects the betting lines. If you're someone who plays player props, that's always a talking point. Like, oh, the weather's going to limit this. Like I knew there was rain in the forecast, but did anyone know it was going to be like that? Like, I think the weather people got it completely wrong with the projections. Like, I checked the day before because I was at the Talking Jets meetup, and I had a conversation with Asmaniacs who were there being like, well, at least you guys get some good weather. You know, I think the thought process was it would rain a little bit in the morning, and then it would pass, and it never stopped raining. I think everyone there was just shocked. You know, and I feel bad for everyone who went, obviously, and Connie makes a great point, too. It was Legends Weekend. Yeah, you had all the great Jet alumni that were there, too. They showed up, unlike the Jets' offense. Yeah, it was great to see Wayne Corbett and Mangold and Gastineau and Marty Lyons and, you know, everyone was there. It's just brutal. Curly says, weather report yesterday morning said rain was done after 11 and it just kept going and going. Yeah, just brutal. Kevin says, stop inviting Testaverde. Did you stop at MetLife? I won't lie to you. I wasn't going to say it, but since someone else did, I will address it. When I saw Vinny was there and he was on the Jets pregame show, I was like, oh, no. All right. NY, how was the wedding? Look, it was a very nice wedding. Congrats to the lovely couple. I was in a very bad headspace last night. It was the least fun I've ever had at a wedding, and it was no fault of anyone but the Jets and me for caring this much about something I have no control over. But that's the problem with being a fan. Yeah, I was miserable, man. I barely drank. I had a couple of drinks to try and like calm down. I mean, I was people were like, "Are you good?" Like it was obvious I was in just pain. It was bad, really bad. I care way too much about this football team. Like my whole week is now ruined. Honestly, by the time we get to Sunday, I'll be convinced the Jets are winning again. We know how this circle. Where by Thursday, we'll be getting the calls. We're going to win 4 in a row. Like everyone's going to be Neil by Thursday. I know how this works. I've done this show long enough. I know how this works. But like, I am dreading the flight Wednesday night to London. Like. It was tough. I feel for you, Jet fans. Now, Will Parkins is supposed to come on at 4. I got to be honest, I have 27 unopened text messages here. I got to confirm that with Will. Maybe we'll push it back a little bit because I got to get back to the city. I got to go look at some trains here. So, anyway, you guys are great. I want to thank everyone who tuned in. If you tuned in for Benigno, he was on for the first hour of the show. So, rewind and check that out. Hold on. We got some housekeeping here. FM is back under a new name. Salah failed Zach. Zach had talent, but we never coached him right. Rodgers did not look better than Zach. If Zach has so much talent, why is he behind Jarrett Stidham and Bo Nix, who also sucks? All right? I don't want to hear it with the Zach Wilson nonsense. FM, good to see you. You're still a scoundrel. Someone paid me copious amounts of money to ban you for life, and I will uphold that ban right now. Goodbye. Enjoy your day, and I hope you're miserable for the rest of your life.
Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it.
The pain never ends, folks, but this fan base remains the best. The best. You guys are awesome. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Once again, join the Patreon if you want to support me. If you're going to London, I recommend joining my Patreon so you can get in the Discord. We're going to have live updates on different meetups throughout the week, including a big-time Gangrene UK tour of all the famous London things to see on Friday before an event Friday night at one of the big-time bars there where Jet fans are congregating. My event is Saturday night with Gotham City Crew and Gangrene UK. Tailgate on Sunday before all this info will be in the Discord. So I can't recommend it enough. If you or you know someone going to London, tell them to get in the Discord. And thank you to Ant Muse for being our most recent Patreon subscriber. He signed up for the year and saved 15%. Thanks again to Joe B for coming on in his weekly spot. My name is Jake Asman. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Like the video on your way out of here. And to all my fellow Jet fans, hang in there, man. We're all in this together. Go Jets. We're back. No super chats left behind. C says, Jake, to end on a positive. Vikings are completely overlooking us. Angry Rogers, Scorch Earth Rogers, bad man, right the ship. I hope, man. I just hope he's healthy enough to still be Aaron Rodgers because he took a beating yesterday. He's 40. His body's not going to, recover that quickly. He got hit way more than he should have. He'll play, but just protect him, man. If you're the offensive line, if you're Brees, if you sack up, man, your season's lost if he's done. Protect him. Hoosier Daddy says, Jake, you read my mind. Hoosier, I appreciate you. All right, now we're done for real this time. Go Jets. Thank you all. Talk to you in a few minutes.
I think that guy. I know, right?